Hello everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to this extraordinary, unexpected Saturday night stream. How exciting for everybody, particularly me, because we're here to talk about Dawn of the Dead, which, as you know, gives me the warm and fuzzies. Not as much as this big batch of whiskey I've made that's stuck to this coaster. Do you see? Isn't it wonderful? What a time to be alive. So, as you already know from our social media and the such like, we've got a special guest tonight, and we've chosen someone who knows the zombie genre very well. Below me, in the kind of Young Ones University Challenge style. Hello, mate. All right? How you doing down there?
Hello, mate. Hold your pink.
No. Spit on it first. Don't.
I can't see the same. Shit, my laptop.
Well, anyway, this is Mark Price, director of movies and things.
Hello.
So
virtually fingering.
Yeah, but it's
all
the closest I've had to a fingering in a long time. Welcome to the pandemic, everybody. Watch the numbers drop. So Mark directed a film called Colin, British zombie movie, which was a very widely reported. I mean, I knew the film Colin a long time before I knew you, but before we came into each other kind of social circles, you were already a thing to me. Because I remember you'd been on TV and all sorts at the time, and I remember as I've said to you before, I bought your zombie film Colin in Poundland, which makes me feel like you perhaps didn't get the full weft, you know.
If you would have said I bought it from HMV or something, I would have gone, you were the one. I've been looking for you my whole life. I think I've made that joke already.
Nope, it was Poundland. I still got it. I do still have it.
Nice.
I do still have it. So Mark,
take that, the cunt who said to the fucking Poundland. No, not Poundland. No, hang on. Poundland's fine. Oh, okay,
whichever.
Sorry. I was thinking of a CX or whatever.
CX. No, I didn't buy a second. I bought it new, Mark. I just bought it for less than a large bar of chocolate, or the same as a large bar of chocolate.
Less than I spent making the fucking thing.
How much? What was the budget on Colin?
Well,
because that was part of the marketing, wasn't it? The kind of.
Oh yeah, someone left on that, and because someone asked how much it cost for us to make the film. And my sales agent at the time went £200. I went, I don't have £200. Where would I get that from? No. I'm living up an overdraft. It was about 50 quid, 40 quid. And I think someone split the difference and just said 45. And that became the catchphrase, which was a bit. Well, it looks like it cost 45
Well,
quid.
hey, look, I think you did that thing that you did the thing that I often talk about, how what got me into kind of filmmaking as a serious concern was watching this film, actually, and the behind the scenes stuff on this film, but mainly like The Evil Dead, where it's kind of like, oh, we went off and did it for nothing. And I think that's really important to a lot of people to see that anyone can, well, not anyone can do it. Basically, Mark, what I'm saying is you've got no talent and anybody could have done it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I really do think anyone can. I mean, the tech is there. Funny enough, this film is the exact one that, it's the European cut, actually, was the version that I watched the night before I woke up the next morning and went, hey, I got this idea for a zombie movie. Wake up, everyone. And then we watched the documentary that was on that DVD, and I said, I think I could make a movie about a zombie but if from the zombie's point of view, we won't have to compete with the scale that we won't be able to afford. And so it was after a night getting drunk and watching the European cut of this on that amazing sort of blue DVD set that apparently isn't available anymore.
The Anchor Bay 4 disco. The one we took.
That's the one, yeah. It was watching the making of the next morning. We all decided to do hangovers. That was when I was like, "Fuck! I got this idea. This zombie movie from the zombie's perspective." And I said, "What do you think, guys?" And they all went, it doesn't sound like it would carry for a feature. It'd be a good short." And I was like, "Oh, fuck it, I'll show you.
I'll teach you."
I'll put you all in it as well. And they all ended up in it. Like the two guys I was living with at the time, Damien, who I'm living with again now, and Lee Crocombe, like they're in it more than Alistair Curtin, who plays Colin. They're playing an arm or a foot or something. That like we just shot pickups every Sunday. It was crazy. Sorry, this is boring. I'm talking about a film that no one's watched.
I just quick shout out to our mate Stephen McCullough from the Channel Vote Saturday 7. Just dropped a £5 super chat. Evening, lads. Be sure to call Rachel a knob from me. She'll understand. He says. It's interesting stuff. I think because you've been on the channel before, you know. And I suspect when I was kind of like, we're talking Dawn of the Dead, which is a special guest. I don't think it was a huge mystery who that would be.
Or was it meant to be a secret? Fuck, I was
no. I kind of half-heartedly acted like it. I sort of half-heartedly acted like it was a secret. I was a bit kind of like, "Ooh, it's a secret," and it wasn't really. And I wasn't going to pull you out from behind a curtain or something like that.
Oh, mate, could have had the little graphic.
Yes, nice little.
I would have felt so special, but I would have been like King Kong. Like, what the fuck's going on?
It would have been like those little motion graphics from Eurotrash. I've had little curtains come out and little butterflies and shit. Going for that sweet Eurotrash dollar, guys. If you're watching at home, the good news tonight is that firstly we're watching the US theatrical cut, the 2 hour 9 minute version, which is George Romero's favourite version, reputedly. It's my favourite version as well, actually. And you can watch that on YouTube for free. There's a link in the description to this very video. So if you go to the description beneath this very video, you will find the US theatrical cut of Dawn of the Dead on a channel called Filmfix. So we can all watch along. Everybody can watch along at home with the film, which is easy peasy. I think something that Mark and I have discussed quite a lot in the run up to this was that we're exclusively, almost exclusively drinking whiskey sours tonight, aren't we?
Mate, I've got my one here, but I've got my, that's a White Russian I'm feeling behind my laptop, and I've got a whiskey sour on standby and a flask of whiskey sours, which I was inspired by you, and I'm going to put the bitters in separately because classy like that.
Mark, synchronicity, my man. You got to have the bitters in the top.
Oh, amazing! Look, my one came from. I couldn't get my one out of the box.
Oh no, and it's shredded up the label. Because one of these, even if you have a whiskey sour a day, which would make you an alcoholic, the label, these bottles last forever. Bitters take so long to go because you.
Look at the mess. I couldn't tell how. I was like, is there alcohol in this? I was like, probably not.
Okay, I've heard from Patrick that this film is blocked in Germany. I'm very sorry, Patrick. There might be. Oh, no. If you can find on YouTube that someone else has uploaded in the German side a 2 hour 9 minute version, that's where we're at. So I'm sorry about that, mate. I cannot help you. I'm sorry.
No.
So yeah,
we can still watch though. If you're vaguely familiar with the film, we'll probably get a good idea. I think all of the live streams you guys have done, I don't think I've put a film on once. I'm familiar enough with the ones that I'm like, okay, they're probably talking about this bit. Yeah, okay. And I'm able to play catch up.
I would love very, very much. And I know it's not possible, but just be able to put it in a window in the corner, like where our poster is right now on our stream. I'd quite like the movie there, but obviously the copyright goblins would then destroy us.
Yeah.
Patrick's got it working for a proxy. So if anybody else tunes in from Deutschland, you tune in for a proxy. Patrick's got your back. So I'm not sure how many we get from Germany, but please, Patrick's got the solution. Dan Lyles, who does lots of artwork and stuff for us. Dan recently did a how to make a film poster with Richard and Duncan's faces in it video, which went down really well. People really enjoyed. So Dan has got a £6.49 bottle of red wine from the Spa.
All right, that's great.
It's Saturday night, mate. It's Saturday night vibes. I mean, Duncan and I do tend to get drunk on Thursday nights anyway, because there's a global pandemic. But outside of a plague, Saturday's where you do your drinking, isn't it? Really? Well,
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I get sober. That's the thing. So I get sober on like a Tuesday.
Right.
Right. Yeah, Tuesday feels like a good
couple
day
of hours
sober.
on a Tuesday is generally the time for sobriety.
Yeah. It's just every drinking day I start like this. I'm just sitting on the sofa and I just go, fuck. Just grab it. What do we got left?
I think we both had a discussion before the streams, kind of like the plague might make us into alcoholics if we're not careful. You just got to be careful. You got to step it back, because there's been a lot of. I think it was worse for me in summer when it's kind of like, the sun's out. I think I was addicted to alcohol and barbecues in the summer. It's probably like a lung cancer thing from standing in front of a barbecue all day.
Our downstairs neighbour, yeah, mate, it's amazing. Our downstairs neighbour moved out, so they said, look, here's the keys. Feel free to, until the new guys move in, feel free to help yourself to the barbecue.
No
back.
shit.
So you're like, shit, yeah.
No shit, fucking awesome.
They hadn't sold the place. It wasn't like they gave us the keys to someone else. They hadn't sold the place. They went, yeah, help yourself. And they was like, someone's moving in now. I was like, gutted. But it was all summer we had it. It was brilliant.
Man, yeah, that's what you want. Now you're going to have to just have an open fire in your front room. It's the only solution.
There's
solution, mate.
There was a spaceship in here through most of last year.
Yes, there was. Let's talk about some other stuff. So, I was a zombie in your film Night Shooters. And I quite like that because I could say to people, like, I'm in a movie on Amazon Prime. I'm in the first 5 minutes.
Got a close up.
Yeah. Mark used my close up. It was fucking great, and that was really fun. We just hung out with Brad all day, and I won't call it a green room. Next to a wall of VHS in wherever that. What was that? That's the studio space where we were filming, right?
That location showed up in what was the Gareth Evans Gangs of London?
Right.
That location showed up in that. I was like, oh shit, yeah. So like it's used a lot in London for things, and I guess Michelle found it for a really good price. I was like, oh, that's
well, there you go. So
great, and there were lots of cool things and stuff in there.
So the scene I was in for Night Shooters, Mark sent me the directions to go. I can't remember what London it is in, but I remember I had to walk, and then go down a fucking alley, and then down some stairs. And I walked down some stairs, and there was like fucking hundreds of, but shitloads of people there, and I was like, okay. And I'd only met you once before, and you were just from the other side of the room, like, oh, come in. I was like, thank fuck. Thank fuck someone knows who I am. And I just walked into like some kind of whatever the fuck was going on, because there's just people everywhere. But yeah.
I remember linking you up with loads of other really lovely film people that were there. I was like, I know these guys love their films. You guys are all going to get along. So I was trying to do all the social massaging before I had to run into a sort of the less exciting location to film a fight, whereas you guys had the cool room and got to do fun stuff.
We did. You introduced us to a lovely group of people, and we just hung out all day. And obviously, Brad and Tim were there, who I already know. So we had a nice chat. It was for you, I suspect. I think it was like when you go to a wedding, the bride and groom are allowed 5 minutes with every guest, and that's practically all they can do. And you were just kind of like, oh yeah, so I'm basically at work now, but thanks for coming, because you had to fucking, run around and do your shit, right? You couldn't be standing around chimmaking. So there was that.
I love one of my favorite bits though is that I said to you, I said, come and be in this action scene, and you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I said, it'll be easy, we won't give you anything hard. And then you just see a flash of you in the film where JP grabs you and throws you out of the way. I was like, there you are, mate. That was great. I was checking with Tom Cotton, who's doing our stunt supervising that day, and he was in. I saw him in the background of Wonder Woman. Actually, that White House. I haven't seen the new Wonder Woman, but I saw a clip. He's one of the security guards in the White House fight.
Right. Okay.
He's in everything. He's in all the Star Wars films and stuff. He's doing lots of stunts like that. But he was coordinating for us that day, and he was great. He was a guy who was like, "That looks okay to me. Is that good? Just want to check." He's like, "Yep, no notes."
Go. That was great, because that's well, if it's included in your Prime membership if you're in the UK, so you can go watch Night Shooters. It's a really fun movie. I know we're not the most unbiased source because you made it and I'm in it, but it's a great fun movie. And your last movie was
Dune
which
Drifter.
is why you had a spaceship in your house for last summer.
Why I had a spaceship in my house, yeah. But the distributors fucked that up. So if you want to watch it, ping me a message on fucking Twitter or Instagram or something. I'll just send you the link, because I'd rather people watch the right version. Well, I suppose I should be careful.
Well, you say, you don't push it too far. But say what you think is appropriate to say.
I've had enough drinks, yeah. Or I've had
we haven't put the movie on, mate. Yet. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Whatever inebriation level I need to be for it to be. But basically, the wrong version was released. We had a version that was for a streaming service that was heavily censored. And it's like, okay, fine, that happens. That was what was released. I'm like, but there's chunks of plot missing from that. It doesn't make any sense now. So it's quite scary. I think my version's on the DVD. So if you buy the DVD, again, my version was supposed to be the main version. Someone fucked up somewhere. So my version is on that DVD as a special feature sort of family cut, but I think they call it a producer's cut. It's just really embarrassing. Okay. And everyone works so hard on the film. I'm so happy with it, but it's like, oh wow, I would really like people to see the fucking movie. Well, Andrew K in the chat has picked up Dune Drifter. I picked up Dune Drifter the other day from the store. So
so it's called the producer's cut, which it isn't. There is no such thing. I don't know where that came from. So on the special features, that's our version with the right sound design and all the good stuff in there. And it's just there's a lot of. Yeah, I'm just like I'm happy with that version of the film, but that's not the default play version, which sort of sucks really, because no one's gonna watch anything called the producer's cut.
That is a weird. It's a little bit like, remember when the work print cut came out for Alien 3, and it's like, what does that mean? Like what does that? I mean, I know in terms of terminology, I know what that means, but it's like that's a weird thing to call that, because David Finch doesn't want anything to do with it anymore. So. In a lot of ways, you're just better than him. You're better than David Fincher, is what I'm saying. That's my view. I've got no biases, at all. He's just better than David Fincher. What we'll do We'll crack on with the movie in a bit. If you've just turned up, Eric Granlund is here. Hey, Eric, good to see you, man. We have not started watching the movie yet. Go to the description of this video for the movie. The reason I haven't plastered that over the stream or on Twitter and stuff is because I know the owner of the movie is litigious, basically, and I've experienced that firsthand. And
is that something you're allowed to tell? It's very
yes. I don't want to get the channel in trouble, but I've just put a link in the top, and that is the US theatrical cut, which is George Romero's favoured version. There's a few different ones. I don't know about you, but I find that that the extended one is like 2 hours 35. As much as I love this movie, it's too much, and it just ruins the pace of it. I think the pace just.
I've seen so many versions; they've all sort of meshed into one for me. So I think the original theatrical is the version that I kind of grew up with, so it's the one I'm the most familiar with.
I think so, and I think it's paced the best. It's really easy to lose track of what's in what version as well, because like.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. Like, I couldn't tell you what extra 30 minutes.
Yeah, well, it's mad to watch, and I think like because there's the Cannes cut, which is like 20 odd minutes, and that has most of Goblin's music removed from it, so it's all library because George chose library music and stuff. So it's fucking.
I forgot Goblin with the first walkout of Colin.
Wait. Save that. Because that's amazing. That's amazing. And I want to start the film with that story because that's incredible.
It's not that interesting. And I don't think it was an aggressive walk.
Did you just sort of look to your left and there was all of Goblin just shaking their heads and walking out? Or like...
No. They were fucking massive as well. So like they really stood out when they all stood up and left. It was like... And for some reason, my brain sort of has really put Gene Simmons' face on the main guy. And I'm like, Gene Simmons walked out. No, he didn't. It was Goblin. Gene Simmons wasn't in Aberystwyth.
Good. I told you before, actually. So everybody, most people here watching tonight, 77 people in, hey guys, they all know Ivan, my flatmate. He does the gaming streams with me. He's done a few things, and he met you at Aberystwyth because he studied at uni there, and you did a talk there. So we've got a weird degree of separation.
But he must have been there for that. He must have been there at the same time.
That's amazing. I might have to.
If it was at Abertoir Film Festival, but actually, I kind of told all the story now.
Fine. I just love your link to Dawn of the Dead as this faintly kind of tragic. You know what I mean?
I was just like John Williams and Jerry Goldsmith, better than you motherfuckers anyway.
That's not your career, is it? Fuck Goblin.
No, I think they went up to Alistair afterwards and said, "Oh, sorry, we had to get something," because they were playing as well, so they could only stay for so long, and then they had to leave. And they left. It was just at the end of the film as well. But as I was sitting there watching it, I just went, like my mate who was like an editor at Total Film at the time. He was sort of like, I saw him look, and I went, "It's okay. They're not walking out because it's bad, are they?"
I mean that is like having John Williams walk out of your sci-fi movie, isn't it? It's like, oh shit, okay. Well, fuck them. I don't think...
They did say to Alice, they said we were working out, we had to get because they were playing like just after the film finished, so they could only stay for so long. But right. They said they liked him. I don't think they remembered what I looked like, so they didn't say anything to me.
Like it wasn't personal. I love it. It's fucking great. I'm just gonna do a quick shout outs to our chatters, to everyone who's popped in tonight. I'm just going to do my usual rattle off, guys, and I know I say to you every time I do this that the YouTube participants tab does not accurately reflect who's here, but I'm going to read this out and pick up any I left. So in my participant tab I can see Andrew K, Annalise Moscombe, Ben Wallace, Benny Legend, Dan Lowes, Eric Granlund, Floyd 75, Dylan, George Jones, I Am Snorlax, Logan W, Marv Dogger 2, interesting, I wonder what his hobbies are, Michael Small, Mr. HEC 381991, Phil Rob 1978, Rob Myers, Ross Sanders, Sam Montgomery, Steve Allen, the John Smith yet again, TMY2C, and that's it for the moment. I see poor Carl Goddard. Every time I do the participant chat, Mark, I read everyone and Carl Goddard's not there, and then he pops up at the end and I've missed him a bunch of times, so I have to give double shouts to Carl Goddard, and if I missed you, I'm sorry, but welcome. Thanks for coming.
No, this is the thing. I've opened it up so I can. Should I have it open so I can read?
If you want, it's entirely up to you. I didn't think about that. Yeah, Duncan and I kind of do it as default as kind of channel owners, But if you would like to, that's absolutely fine. I'm sure people will direct questions at you as we go.
I tell you what I'm trying to do. Can you keep an eye out just in case, right? Because I'm shit at this, and just in case someone asks a question I don't answer, I don't want to seem like a prick.
No, of course, no. I
asked a question just there. Can you be a little bit more fucking courteous to our fucking people who very kindly make us feel like popular.
Yes.
Son of a
No,
bitch.
don't worry. I will have the chat. I'll have a close eye on the chat all the way through. Oh, James Liddell. Did I miss you, James? James Liddell's in here as well. Marco Marin there too.
I just saw my face, you see, and now I'm traumatized. I'm like, is this what I'm giving you? Is this what the people want?
Is this what they want? You're a very handsome man, Mark. Don't believe it.
But
I was worried that when
of the Elephant Man, and you're being kind out of that pity.
When I this my camera being black and white, if that's what was going on. When I photoshopped us into the Dawn of the Dead poster, I just thought people would think there's the middle zombie twice when I put myself in there. So that's why I mirrored it. It's very I thought I was being very clever. Logan, we cannot put the film in a box because despite things being on YouTube, it used to be the case that when things were on YouTube you could play them in a window and it'd be all right. We came a cropper of that even on a private Patreon stream. We came a cropper of that, which is ridiculous. However, there is a link to the film in the description.
I put a rough cut of of a film I made on YouTube once for someone to see, and then he just took all this out. I was like, it's a private link. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, like what the fuck? I mean,
it was awesome.
You got to hide all your shit on Vimeo. I heard something quite amusing today. We'll get into the movie in a minute. He said, pouring himself a drink. I'm
sorry. Before you do, did I see you shake your flask before you poured yours?
Yeah, just because I was just worried that because I've got some in this sports bottle as well. If you just leave it standing out, it might settle a bit. So just give it a good.
This is my first flask of whiskey sours.
Right. This is my weapon of choice. I think all these guys know that. I've talked about it a few times.
I've only made them recently because of what you told me, and I was like, oh, well, I'm trying to be healthy, so I bought some honey from my mate's honey business.
Oh, nice! So she sent me
she sent me a massive jar. I was like, thank you. And so I've just been making all my syrup out of that, and mate, it's the best thing ever.
Right. Okay. It is fucking wonderful, isn't it? I mean, I've been on a weight loss
like
kick.
It's like being fucked in the mouth by an angel.
A big, bald, ginger-bearded angel. You're welcome. I put egg white in mine. I know you don't for yours, but I didn't put egg white tonight because I made like 4 pints of it or something, and I don't have that many eggs unless it was like an ostrich egg that I could just like crack the whites in there.
Oh, see, now you got me thinking about the indulgence I want to get on. I was like, oh, if we could get like a fucking rare animal egg.
like a bald eagle,
a fucking elephant,
an elephant egg.
Yeah, even though we're going to genetically make an elephant to lay a fucking egg, and we're going to wipe them down to the last 6, and then I'm going to have that egg yolk in my whiskey sour. That's what this pandemic does.
That makes sense.
Turn me into like one of the. I now aspire to be one of the terrible Tory elite cunts.
a fucking grey, wrinkly elephant egg. That's it. Oh, hey, do you know what? Just as a coincidence, I'm gonna line up the movie. I'm gonna get the movie ready so we can crack on soon because I feel like this has been lots of digressions and stuff. I don't know if you know. So Patricia Tallman, who took over the role of Barbara in the remake of Night of the Living Dead, and she was in various Star Trek stuff.
Star Trek.
Yeah. She has a YouTube channel and she does some stuff, and it appears like she's doing a watch party at the same time as us. So we're competing against that Patricia Tallman dollar, and I wouldn't blame anybody for going to see Pat Tallman stream because she's cool as fuck.
Yeah, she's awesome.
But there you go. So I'm just gonna queue up my movie. So guys, Mark, we normally do like a count in to press play.
Okay.
So just get yours ready. I'm going to give everybody a minute to get yours ready. So guys, link in the description. We're all going to be watching the same source on YouTube. So it should be fairly hard to get this wrong, I think. We'll all be watching the same thing. And like I said, it's a 2 hour. It actually shows up as 2 hours, 7 minutes and 3 seconds is the cut, but it's the search. So please go click the link in the description, please, and we'll get ready. It's one of many that are on here. So go find your first one in my description. Get your drinks ready. We're going to be just fanboying the fuck out over this one, man. This is like one of my I've talked about it enough. Like, this is one of my favorite films, like, ever.
Oh, nice.
Like,
it's great, isn't it?
Yeah. No troubles there. I have lots of boring trivia, but I'm going to be fucking steaming by the end. So God knows what's
Mate, my trivia on this is actually quite thin. I realize that like my watching of it has been it's been a film that I've just always watched. And I think the way that they make it, it's so fantastic. You can just sort of work out some of what they did. and I've always sort of like enjoyed that. I think funny enough, I think Romero said that about the film that inspired him to get into filmmaking. He said, "Oh, I can see how they did that," and that's what.
Yeah, he does. I can't remember where he says that, but that, yeah. Because watching this, I love reverse engineering the effects. So like Machete Head is the reverse motion, because Tom Savini loves that, thing taken out of the knife effect that he does. He does it in Day of the Dead as well.
We've done it on a few things. Reverse cinematography is like there's a trick to it, and you can do it a little bit better now. Is if you sort of we'll get into it.
We'll get into it. Okay, cool.
To blow my load up front, then you just got like 90 minutes. Just watch the film.
2 hours, mate. 2 hours. Don't worry about it.
No, I reckon I've got 37 minutes worth of good stuff, and then after that, it's 90 minutes of me just watching.
Right. Okay. Okay. Fine. Just staring at it. You do have to filibuster on a live stream. There's a lot of filibustering because you just got to keep talking. People, it's quite nice. People, it's not Gogglebox. You know what I mean?
It's regular busting for me. I just
regular busting. Does it make you feel good, like all good busting should?
It makes me feel very filled.
I feel full from filibustering. Right, I got my Roku ready. I'm going to count in from 10. My assumption is that all he uses is ready. George Jones is playing with his Xbox, getting his Xbox ready. Come on, George. I'm gonna filibuster. You see, filibustering now. It's a good example. I could just sort of endlessly fill the air. George, I can only give you so much time, my dude. I'm going to count from 10. Duncan gets annoyed because I like to count from 17 and 13 and things like that.
Oh, mate, you should totally do that. See if I get angry. I think I won't be. I think I'll be chill.
Okay, it's I mean, spoilers, but he might be going to be chill. All right, I'm going to count from. I'm giving George the time. 2 minutes, George. Come on, George. 2 minutes. That's 120 seconds. I can't count from 120 seconds for George's Xbox. Come on, I'm too eager to please, so I sort of will. Right, I'm going to count from.
Good, man. I like it.
I'm going to count from 11.
Oh fuck, mate! It's so annoying. Yeah. Duncan's right.
Yeah, see, it's awful, isn't it? Isn't it awful? There's just a lack of internal consistency. It's it's vile. It is vile. Right. Okay. I'm starting now. All right, everybody. I'm starting now. The film start. Also, Mark, I'm just going to help George out a little bit. It's a film that starts with flock wallpaper, and this is a film I associate with flock wallpaper always, which is a carpeted wall, which makes me really want to go for a curry. But that's a whole other discussion. All right, here we go. 11. Oh, we're going to go on go, not one. All right.
Okay.
11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
There we go.
Flock wallpaper.
Yeah, there we go. Got it. There.
Herbert R. Stoneman and Billy Baxter present a Laurel Group production.
Oh, cracking. Look at that.
And I find this this is one of these films. It's sort of like when I see the Orion logo on RoboCop or whatever, but this starts with the wow and the flock wallpaper, and then Galen Ross having a shitty dream wrapped in a beige blanket. I'm like, yeah, okay, I've arrived. Dawn of the Dead's happening, and I'm fine. I don't need any other entertainment now. Like, I'm going to be.
That is the comfiest fucking wall to fall asleep on, though. Really? And like that sucker in the chair.
That is the equivalent, because I look at that wall, and I think of like those monsters who put carpet in a toilet, and it's like, don't put carpet in a wall where people smoke cigarettes in a small confined space. Editing, it's like a little lung cancer factory. That booth, it's like a fucking it's like a live transmission thing, like a Vision Mixers booth with a window. They just sat there chain smoking. Fuck the zombie apocalypse. Like, that's going to get you first.
Do you know what was your first experience watching this film? Do you remember it?
Very well, yeah. So I had to watch it in 2 parts, or possibly longer. So what happened was, me and my brother live really close to my school, and we got to go home for lunch. So we got almost a full hour at home every day. And do you remember when they put this on BBC Two in like 1996 or something, 1997?
I think I saw it earlier than that. I think it was about 93, 94. It was on Movie Drome.
Oh, yeah. I used to, with Alex Cox. Yes. Yeah. Sure.
That was where I saw it for the first time. But I saw half of it. That's my one.
I think we got a similar thing. So what happened was, we saw the trailers that it was on BBC Two, and it was, they don't want us, they want the place. They don't know why, they just remember. And the trailer was just like, oh, what is this? So my brother taped it off of BBC Two, and then we watched 1 hour one lunchtime, and then the other hour the next lunchtime. So we watched it in 2 1 hour kind of sections of just like, oh my God. And because we were kids, because I was about 12, I think, or 11, and he's 2 years older than me. and then had like zombie dreams, and all we were just sitting around going like, so what would you do? How would we protect this house? Like, would we put boards up or would we leave? Because we're quite close to the countryside. Do you go to north where it's cold and it snows? Does that make them freeze? And like, that was it. You know, that was it. That was the
amazing.
The infection, ironically, the zombie bite. You know,
that's amazing. No, I think mine was well. I really wanted. I think I rented. This is very long and boring. Possibly, I'll try and make it fun. So we rented Batman, right? And so there was the trailer of Batman for "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker." Do you ever?
Yes, of course. The good Wayans movie. I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker.
So that looked hilarious. I wanted to see it. My uncle taped it off Sky. We didn't have Sky at the time, and then lent it to us. So we watched it. Amazing, great, loved it. Really funny songs at the end. So I remember just watching that. Then the tape stopped, as it did in the time. The little wriggly line, it wound down, and then whatever was taped before, and it was the end of Ghostbusters. And I was like, amazing. So I watched the last 20 minutes of Ghostbusters. Loved the music on Ghostbusters. Watched all the end credits, and obviously my uncle started channel surfing, and he channel surfed and turned over just as someone went, "Wake up, Galen!" And so she wakes up. I was like, "Oh, what's this?" And it had the first 40 minutes of this film, or the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes of this film. And I went, what the fuck is this? And it was amazing. I didn't know what it was. It was amazing. I was so blown away. I was like, I didn't know what it was called because I just missed the title.
Right,
turned over the title. I was like, I don't know what this is. And so I was watching Movie Drome with, and I think I'd seen Repo Man there. I was like, oh, this guy plays cool films. And so it was what I'd watch on Sunday night in my bedroom with the TV turned down. It's not the bother my parents. And then I thought, oh, what's this? Dawn of the Dead, whatever. And when it came on, I was like, okay. And then within seconds, I went, this is the fucking film. This is that one. I didn't know what this was. And then I watched the whole thing.
That must have been the biggest relief ever. That must have been the biggest.
So
because, when you watch those films, they don't come back to bring it back in.
There's certain films, I think when I was younger, you see certain bits and then you're just there. You're right back to that first viewing. And I think one of them for me was, I remember loving the 70s King Kong, which I saw first.
Right.
And then my dad said, oh, here's the original. It was on one day. And I was like, oh, black and white. I don't care about black and white because I'm 8 and it's like 1987 or something.
You know what year you were born. It's trying to
I don't think those dates correlate, actually. But I'm 41, whatever the fuck that is. But and then there was but the RKO logo stuck with me. So every day for about 7 years, I was like, it's gonna be King Kong, and then it never was, and then one day it was. I was like, yes. This is back in the day when shit was on TV. It's always like an evolution from the way that before video.
Yeah.
You just had to watch. You had to watch your films in cinemas. They weren't available any other way, right? So yeah, this is. That was. I don't know if that was a boring story. But
no. I think it's interesting, and you've linked it to King Kong, which is a film that seems to inspire a lot of people. I mean, Peter Jackson built his whole fucking love of film off of King Kong.
I make films with Peter Jackson because I saw his documentary on Bad Taste. That's the reason.
Another one. Make your film. Do it on a weekend. Like Bad Taste. Bad Taste is so good as well. I remember Bad Taste.
Yes.
One of the girls in our friend group puked when we watched Bad Taste. It's amazing. Or is it David Emge who plays Flyboy? He looks like something. My brother and I, when we watched this, the only kind of non-serious thing was like, he looks so much like Hugh Laurie. He's like this so Hugh Laurie-esque, and I think we've called him Hugh Laurie for 25 years, so as shorthand. And also, I remember
this shocked me so much when I was a kid. Like the headshot straight away from the young guy. You're like, oh, he's going to be all right.
Fuck. And slightly awkward, but the first gang member that runs out in front of Roger and then gets shot in brownface.
Oh yeah,
is John Amplas, who.
Okay.
So John Amplas was casting director on this. He plays Ted in Day of the Dead, and he was Martin in Martin.
Oh my god! Yeah. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's because George Romero used the same people a lot. So one of the versions has what's his name? Captain Rhodes. Joe Pilato is in one of.
Yeah, I think I'm wondering if it was this version.
I think it is. Yeah, he's in the. He should be in the airport scene. I think. So I don't want to spell, because this whole thing, like, because it's
there he is.
There he is. Yeah, that is unfortunate. Is how I'm going to say that. But all the racial tension in this stuff feels really real, because Wooly, the head of the SWAT guy that goes mental, Wooly is just like this awful racist asshole, and then the bikers at the end are depicted wearing Nazi stuff and shit. You know, they're bad dudes too. So the drinking corridor janitor just dropped $4.99 in the chat. He says, "Hey guys, can't stop as I must get birthday drunk away from the shores of Val Verde. Have a good watch party though. I'll watch tomorrow." Okay, man. Good to see you, dude. Good to see you. Yeah, it's really shocking. It's a real shocking opener. Like, it gets heavy quickly. Like, it's really heavy straight away.
I've never seen a film that started like this. I was just like, "Oh, what the fuck?" This is because it starts off as like a shootout. I'm like, okay. And I couldn't make head nor tail of what was going on here, and then zombies came in. It's a
really effective portrayal of the collapse of a society. Because you know, the Romero zombie films in particular, like Night of the Living Dead is literally the first day it happens, but this is the collapse of a society that cannot handle this situation. And the two guys doing the news, the chat show, you know, the people it kills, get up and kill, and there's this kind of voice of reason, but there's conflict within it. It's very prescient right now with what's going on. And then we go straight to these SWAT team are clearing out a ghetto. It's full of racial tension and stuff, and like you've got this kind of maniac that's just lost his mind. He's running around shooting people and stuff. You know, they're just trying to kind of keep it together. And then you know, Peter and Roger meet by almost coincidence, and then you have the fucking, you know, all the zombies in the basement and stuff because they've refused. And it comes back around on itself in pandemic.
It's about their loved ones. Maybe they can get better, so they don't done it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Simon C just dropped $9.99 in the chat. Thank you, Simon. No message. Simon is actually one of my mates, and he's throwing real money at me. What a fool! What a lunatic. So thanks, cheers, Simon. Thank you. Simon watched Dawn of the Dead for the first time today, which I'm very jealous of. He watched a day in anticipation of the watch party, so I'm very jealous of him watching that.
It's that like the reaction video thing is cringe, right? Am I alone here?
No, of course you're not. No, absolutely not. Mate. Just pure numbers before you continue. Pure numbers. Our demographic is 25 to 45, so you're in the right. Please continue. Please go on.
But like the thing I love about, you get people who get really like, you haven't seen that film, what the fuck? And I've never been like that. Every time I've come across someone who hasn't seen a film, I'm like, let's watch it. And because I'll never get to see the film for the first time again, so I can sort of try and experience that vicariously by sort of side watching someone who's watching something first. So I wish I could have been in a room with you, staring at you from a. Isn't it magic? It's really Dead for the first time. That would have been amazing.
I'm the same. I don't do that whole kind of. Firstly, the more someone tells me to do something, the less likely I am to do it because my brain's broken. But secondly, it's just irritating when someone's kind of like, "You haven't seen it." Because there's the thing from Hot Fuzz that Duncan and I joke about a lot, is that you've never seen Bad Boys 2, that whole thing. Well, I hate laying that on people because it just puts you off, and I don't blame them. Like, because it's just like, oh, you've not seen that. Instead, what you should do is kind of like come over and watch it, and we'll enjoy it together. And I want to see how you enjoy it. Also, the young SWAT guy here that blows his own brains out.
That really was that was one of the most disturbing things I'd seen when I was a kid. Right after this, I was like, what is going on with?
Because that whole character's arc is like he's just like society's falling, and he just gives up. He just gives up. He just fucking shoots. He blows his brains out. Did you know? I think it's already happened. You know when Wooly kicks the door in and explodes the head with his shotgun?
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah. Did you know that was a mold of Galen Ross's head with the beard on it?
Yes, because she was meant to die at the end, right? That was the.
Yeah. So spoilers if you haven't seen Dawn of the Dead. But the original ending was.
This isn't the way to watch it. If this is your first experience, this isn't the way as us chatting through it and ruining it.
It does happen on streams that people watch it with us for the first time, but it's not the venue to watch a 40-year-old.
We would recommend watching it, then coming back to watch this, right?
Yeah.
Is that yeah? Oh, because this is good. This isn't like let's find a bad movie and then waffle through it. This is fucking excellent.
I think the assumption is always that everybody's seen it. Is the assumption. It's always the assumption.
I think that's usually a good one to go with. And yeah, it's just, I mean, like this. How long are we into this at the moment?
Not very far. I wouldn't have thought.
11 minutes. We get our little. Okay, let's meet some characters.
Yes, I like because it's all about societal decay. It's like this really upfront, like, here is a decaying society. Here is what the collapsed society might look like. And right now in our lifetimes, it's kind of touching on some elements of that. Because there's an element of denial of the situation, which I think is really important.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get our first characters, and so Simon texted me earlier because he'd never seen it before, and he kind of goes like, "Hey, look, like, so do people's attitudes change to this stuff? Because I'm not finding this very scary." And I kind of went, well, I found it quite scary when I was, 12, but, watching it as a 35-year-old, I wouldn't think so. But the strength of the film isn't necessarily... The horror is how the people behave, really. It's how people's selfishness ruins things. And it's this really strong character-driven movie. So we end up with 4 principals. So we've been introduced to all of them now after 11 minutes.
Yeah.
And they've got a really strong, very clear dynamic. And it's very obvious who is who and what means what. And when, spoilers, one of those people is removed, it becomes a triangle. And it's what's in that. Also, I just want to say, when the dead walk, senores, you must stop the killing or lose the war.
So yeah, this guy like not having a leg. I was just a little thing that was like. Do you think maybe there was a point where they planned to shoot it to make him look more like a zombie, and then, but it didn't kind of work out that way, so they just didn't bother. Because they did a similar thing in Land of the Dead, where you see, the guy with his face sort of like really badly damaged, and he's like, "It's okay, I'm not one of them," and he doesn't get shot. And they're like, "Oh, that's kind of okay. I see what you're doing there." And I kind of wonder if that was George Romero trying to come back and do a thing that he didn't quite pull off here, and so in the edit didn't try. Like,
I wonder. Yeah, I wonder. I don't know, and I sort of also wonder because this guy, he's clearly. There are a lot of non-actors in this film.
He's not an actor, no. But there's nothing wrong with that.
No, and I love his performance.
That, and it's amazing when Ken Loach does it. I think there's a charm if you use someone who isn't a trained actor in certain ways, and this guy is like the epitome of that.
And this has the opening scene is pure social realism as well. Like, okay, it's got about zombies, but it's about a social realist, and I think casting non-actors allows that. And there are so many extras in this film. I reckon, they saw an old guy with one leg. We're like, yeah, okay, cool. We got a zombie. And then I still quote it. He's like, the people of 401 will do what you wish. And I've got all this in my head still.
Yeah.
So who knows? I mean,
that's just one of those random thoughts that pops into my head. Like, I'm sure I could verify this by doing a deep dive search, but it's fun to speculate, right? So that we can all.
Oh, it's all part of it. Is this what you do when you first watch it, right? You kind of sit and speculate about what's going on and stuff.
You know what? Someone might have an answer for us, and it might pop up, and that's that's the ticket. It's like I'm not going to pretend I know everything about every film.
Yes.
This is one of the few films that I've genuinely loved, but my facts to go with it, I've got fuck all. I was just like, shit, what am I going to say? Because I think I've always just experienced it on its own terms, and aside from a few things you pick up, not much really. I'm surprised at myself in a weird way because I'm normally obsessed to a degree where I want to know everything. But
I think you get a pass for having made a zombie film. I think that's your pass, mate. I wouldn't argue, because for me, this is one. Because of the way I am, like when I don't just love something, I really fucking love it. And as a kid, I watched this, and I had to consume everything relating to it. I used to go on like a website related to George Romero films. I got books and so I'm full of trivia for it. But at the end of the day, we don't like to throw. I will throw out trivia for this one because it's one of the ones I know. But we don't like to do that too much because you can just get that on the IMDb fucking trivia page. I'd rather have some analysis and some thoughts and stuff. So it's not.
Yeah, I guess the fun is the personal experience that we get to share, right? And that's where how did you see it for this time? All those things, and that's what like fascinates me. And it's always this has always been one of those films that I've just I don't meet enough people who haven't seen it that I can go, let's watch it. Right. What I like about George Romero, he has such a sense of humor that even in places where it might have dated, because I think Tom Savini is a bit like shit. They look really grey. So he came a Day of the Dead with a completely different, like, right now this is what we're doing now.
And we should do that sometime because holy fuck that movie.
Yeah, that film it's I'm glad it's changed because I remember a lot of attitude of like, it's not very good, and that
that was the less of the three. If you don't know what we're talking about, the sequel to this film, Day of the Dead from 1985.
I thought it was 4, but like 85. Yeah, I reckon
the 80s is from the 80s.
I reckon you know it more than I will.
I think it's 5, but anyway, but that was generally regarded as the less of the 3. I like dawn and day more than I like night personally, and I'm in this constant struggle where I can't choose which one I like the most.
I'm the same. I like night a lot, and I think like I remember I think it was my 30th birthday. I went to they were showing all 3 of them, so I went to see it was night, dawn, and day, and that was like my whole night. Just sat in the cinema, just watching like all 3 of them, and it was the first time in a long time I'd sat down and watched Night of the Living Dead. And it's so great.
It's fucking amazing. Look, I did a private Patreon stream of it a few months ago.
That was amazing. But you could have done another screen for that one. You'd have been fine.
Yeah, well, we talked about it because that is actually in the public domain. The scene, so that we don't really see them in this version. You see the back of their heads. These cops that they meet at the dock who are fleeing have an extended scene in other versions, and one of the cops is played by Joe Pilato, who played the villain in Day of the Dead. So Romero brought him back for that movie. So trivia shit. I've got an amazing trivia about Scott Reiniger, who plays Roger.
Oh yeah.
Did you know he is a prince of he's the prince of a province in Afghanistan?
I did not know that.
This is the most amazingly wonky story. So I heard this before, and I thought before the stream today, I love this. You see,
how
the lights go out in the building.
What's going on there? Is that animated?
I think there's probably a time when they maybe turn off the lights in that building and they were just there for it, because it doesn't look like a rotoscope or anything like that.
No, it looks fucking excellent, doesn't it? Like,
yeah, I think it's in camera. So Scott Reiniger plays Roger, who is the white SWAT guy, the guy with the blonde hair. So he is a prince of a province in Afghanistan. And I think it's called like the Goda province or something. So I did the deep dive today just to make sure my trivia was on point. So basically, his dad I think it was his dad or his grandfather was the first ever American in Afghanistan, and he agreed to help the people of that province in a fight against. Oh God, I should have had the tab open. I'm not going to cheat. In a fight against a kind of warring faction, which he agreed to do, and they made him a noble of that province. And Scott Reiniger, as the eldest son, is the heir to that, so he is a prince of a province of Afghanistan, and he's Yeah, it's crazy. And bless him, he's kind of quite ambivalent about it. And he's like, look, I'm just a dude from America. That's weird. And his younger brother is a kind of history documentary guy for PBS, and he wants to pass the title to his younger brother. So
wow.
And meanwhile, Ken Faree, who plays Peter, was the dad on Kenan and Kel.
He was, yes. I remember that.
Yeah. He was, and he's done loads of. He's like a bit of a horror movie staple, isn't he, Ken Faree?
Yeah. He's done loads.
Mm.
We were going to say the same thing, where basically Romero put a thing in the newspaper and said, "Who wants to be in our new zombie film?" And then every fucker
turns out. Yeah. Well, the tradition was he used to pay everybody $1, didn't he? You got $1 to be in the Romero zombie film, and he used to sign the dollars as well, which is there he goes. He's got his whiskey
that's
sour.
not too loud. That's not too loud, is it? It's not.
That sounded all right. I can't remember the song in this. I've got here are my 2 movie redneck songs.
Okay.
This one goes, "'Cause you're a man, 'cause you're a man." But also in Terminator 2 it goes, "Guitars, Cadillacs, hillbilly music." Those are my 2 movie redneck songs. So there you go. They're just, for some reason, there's that kind of connective tissue. This is all great, really good. Again, and this stuff, the rednecks in the countryside, the kind of National Guard, all picks off from Night of the Living Dead. This is always, because the thing, if you've just tuned into this movie, never seen it before in your life,
that shot there with them shooting and the zombie falls down, they recreated that for Shaun of the Dead.
Yes,
Edgar Wright was the one that fell over. Which is very good. Sorry, you go, buddy.
No, that was great, because Shaun of the Dead, by the way, again, if you've not seen this movie, Shaun of the Dead, the name is a thing, but all the zombie movies, the Fulci ones, that gets Fulci's Pizza, and Bubs. There's Bubs something as well.
Day of the Dead. This guy's head.
Yeah. Well, look, here's a guy with a really tall head, and there's a helicopter. What could possibly happen now?
I'm sure the top of his head will be fine.
I'm sure, mate. I reckon he might trip on a brick. I've no idea what could possibly happen.
One of my best friends, who's in loads of shots of Colin, me and him bonded over this film. A guy called Gareth Leahy, amazing graphic designer. And so when we watched this for the first time together, as soon as that guy showed up, we just couldn't breathe. And I was like, this is one of those moments you just go, ah, we're going to be friends for the rest of our life. It's like the one...
Friends!
Like someone who found a thing that I always sort of just went, And because he laughed, I made me laugh. Because I laughed, made it, and it just made us laugh so hard. I was like, wow, okay, that's... synergy.
No, hey, that's awesome, because it is the most ridiculous thing, because this guy comes out with the big flat head. The effect is awesome, and by the way, because there's an element of rotoscoping in that,
Yeah, they put...
they rotoscope the helicopter blades in and stuff. Yeah, so they're going... And also the stuff from the helicopter is, obviously, it's a helicopter on the ground with a couple of stagehands rocking it a bit to make it look like they're in motion with a bit of sound. It's really effective,
Yeah, it's great.
Also... this is something I had to check for my sanity, because someone said this isn't the case, but it definitely is. The zombie in the middle of in the poster is the airport zombie. It's the one that takes Ken Free, and the extent something you very rarely see in zombie films that this movie does. I don't think it's in this. Are the zombie kids in this version? I can never remember.
I think they're the ones that are making all that noise in the door. Yeah,
yeah. But some versions just he shoots the door and it cuts.
I think that's only in the UK because I think at the time
the BBFC cut this, didn't they? Right.
Yeah. No. I think it was on the. It was in the. Yeah. They cut because it was at the time they were re-releasing this on VHS or whatever at the time. Like Dunblane hadn't long happened.
It was the 1997. It was 97. The 97 tape release had to be cut because of the kids.
Right.
There you go.
So this was in the version that was on Moviedrome, but it wasn't in because for some reason Moviedrome didn't cut anything as far as I remember.
Ken Faree sells that so hard as well. Like when, because zombie movies very rarely do kids. The remake did The Baby, which is pretty gruesome. But like, the kids come out and then Ken Faree just like shoots the kids on the sofa, and it's like, yeah, that's fucked up. That's really.
It was they were Tom Savini's sort of nephews as well, I think.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah. So he was like, so it was all like, it's just Uncle Tom. He just wants us to wriggle on the sofa.
Yeah, wriggle on the sofa.
Because he's shooting them at head height, which doesn't work because they're kids and
they come through the door.
Yeah,
but he still gets.
Here he comes.
Here he comes. Here he comes.
He looks like Crichton from top to bottom.
He's like a 70s.
My toupee. I love it.
It's the joy of sex, Crichton, isn't it? That's what that is. So in case you're wondering, that's like a bunch of wire wrapped up in the head, and then Tom Savini yanks the thing and it comes off, and they just animate the thing in. Okay, so yeah, here's the kids. They never do zombie kids in films, for a good reason, because it's fucking awful. But yeah, and these two are like 28 Days Later runners as well. They're fully fucking,
Well, it's a kid in 28 Days Later, isn't it? And that's pretty awesome.
Oh,
that is one he kills. The one he kills, and he's like, I hate you! That bizarre thing in the sun.
That was an accident. So it was supposed to be really low in the mix. You're not supposed to be able to hear it.
Oh, right,
but when it came out, it was like, do you know what? In a kind of abstract way that works, we're just going to keep it, because that movie has the strange thing with the kind of the painted flowers when they drive through the field. Yes. As these like kind of nice little expressionist bits.
I love Danny Boyle's artistic flourishes. They're amazing. There he is.
There's a poster guy.
I saw an interview with him. He was like really excited about. He was like, "Oh, really, me?" It's like, you look like a son, sir.
Yeah, we basically need an actor who looked like the Japanese flag, and that's you. So I like to think that I'm continuing his legacy. I do my best.
I wore that stupid fucking hat, so I'm sorry I ruined your poster.
Well, no, I like it. I sort of thought because I've seen a few of your shots of you directing with the cans on, and I was like, it looks like Mark's directing on a cold day. But it's just
I was just listening to the Labyrinth soundtrack.
Right, of course you were.
Going for a run.
That's what I thought. Yeah, totally. Absolutely. I just thought of what picture of Mark's face would go over Horizon well, I thought, when I was photoshopping.
And it was all the ones where I tried my best to look
I know, it's you looking cool, and I was like, actually, I'm going to go do the poster because I've got nothing better to do. That's what I'm going to do. That's me tonight.
Stroke of genius. I loved it.
I did see some... Because they do that in the remake. Remember... The WGON traffic copter flies over. Yeah. It flies over the shop.
Car crashes into the air. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some kind of WGON merchandise. I'm like, I'd fucking love a brown WGON t-shirt. That would be pretty sweet.
Last Exit to nowhere would get on top of that one.
You would hope, wouldn't you? You would have thought so. Yeah, you would have thought that. I love this. These bits have real, like, again, really character-driven, dialogue-driven movie, really. And he's like, what is it? He goes like, "Oh yeah, we're just out here doing traffic reports. Wake up, sucker! We're thieves and we're bad guys." And it's like, yeah, you just stole some petrol and you're on your way to steal some spam. You're the worst people I've ever met.
Yeah, with all them rape gangs kicking around.
It's those spam thieves you got to watch. They killed a Harry Krishna, the bastards.
Oh fuck! I'm mates with him. I'm friends with him. He's a really, like, I get on with him really well.
The Harry Krishna zombie.
Yeah.
Whoa! Stop the fucking clock, you cunt. What are you talking about? You're friends with the Harry Krishna zombie from Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
This is prime. This is watch party shit. Tell us all. This is amazing.
So when I was doing Colin, this was MySpace days. I was like, oh, I want to. I think I saw the machete zombie somewhere, and I went, whatever MySpace was. Do you follow on that, or you just fucking
friends? Friends, I think.
But they don't necessarily follow you back, right? I remember Edgar Wright was like, Edgar does not allow people to be mates with him on MySpace if you're filmmakers, or if you've written you're a filmmaker. And of course, I'd written that, and I was like, oh,
shit,
fine.
I'm a butcher.
but I imagine it's because everyone's like, it's access. This is before, back in the day where like you didn't have access to any celebrity, you didn't get your blue ticks or anything. It was him, and it was like people could bother him. It's like, please watch my film, which you get. It's a weird industry, the film industry. I don't know if you find this, Rich, but
no, because I'm a nobody, so no.
Well, look, you get, it's the only industry, right, where people will, and this doesn't account with the script you sent me. I loved that. That was excellent. But it's the only industry where people send you stuff and you're just like, oh fuck. So no one reads it. No one goes, wow, a script to read. They go, oh god. 90 pages, fucking son of a... Right. Like, it's the only industry this happens in. So everyone reads things or watches things because they have to. Because it's good to know what kind of filmmaker you're going to be working with, so you watch it, or what kind of writer you're with. So it's and so the trick is you've got to try and write your stuff and make your stuff so that people keep watching or keep turning the page. So it's a really tricky sort of thing. But shit, where was I going with that? There was a point to that. So yes, that would be my Edgar.
No,
anyone to be makes it on my
the Harry Krishna zombie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. So yeah. So on MySpace, I saw the machete guy. I was like, oh, I'll follow you. And Harry Krishna guy, I followed, like, oh god, what's the name of that actor who plays Bub?
Sherman Howard or Howard Sherman, depending on what you're watching.
Star Trek, of course, we know him from Star Trek as well. Right? So Sherman Howard, Howard Sherman.
When he's Lex Luthor, he's Sherman Howard. When he's Bob, he's Howard Sherman. You fucking decide. I don't know.
Yeah. So I followed all those guys, and Harry Krishna sort of followed me back. So like, oh well, now I can message you. So I think that's how MySpace works. I just got to chat with him, got on with him really well. So he said, "Oh, I'm at this Comic Con. Why didn't you come along?" I was like, "Well, I'm at this Comic Con because Colin was out at that time." So I went to sort of find him, just to be like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And then I sort of rocked up, and it was kind of a quiet patch where he was. So it was him and Margot Kidder, and he was hardcore macking on the Margot Kidder, and she seemed to be really into it.
Oh wow! Oh whoa! Wait now. Okay, hold on.
Colin.
I can't keep up with this. This has just got... Okay, so basically, the Harry Krishna zombie from Dawn of the Dead, in real life, arranged to meet you at Comic-Con, and when you went to do so, said man was macking on the late Margot Kidder, who appeared to be into it.
Was definitely alive at the time. And
you're good, yeah, yeah, right.
And I was like, oh, and I went up to him and I was like, oh, hey man, and I was like sort of chatting away, and he's like, oh hey, and he had that look of fuck off, I'm busy, and I was like, Jesus Christ, it's Margot Kidder there, and I didn't know what to do because I was like, I don't like, and she was really nice and like polite, and I was like, oh do I go like, hey man, I love you in Dawn of the Dead, and you I grew up with watching several movies, just the one.
This guy has a non-speaking role in a cult classic, but you were Lois fucking Lane.
But I gave him the DVD of Colin, which I'd like printed out a bad cover. I was like, I don't know if this will work. They were hit and miss. Sometimes they work, sometimes they didn't. Give it to him in the fucking Polly Pocket or whatever. I was like, there you go. And then he gave me like a signed version of his thing. And all I remember thinking was, God, I hope he doesn't want me to pay for this. I'm like, Colin hadn't made any money at that point. I was like, I didn't want to. I like, we hadn't had all the money for the distribution. I was like, I was still living out of my overdraft. I was like, I don't want to throw 50 quid at you for this or whatever it was. And I just like, cheers, man. And sort of wandered off and thought, fuck, now he hates me because I fucked up his shot at Lois Lane. And fuck. I wandered off. But we got along really well. We were Facebook buddies. Massive Trump supporter.
Really? Well, this zombies scene is coming up.
Ironically,
yes, right? Like, yeah, Trump really got the Harry Krishna vote. That's a fact.
But last I checked, actually, I think because I was gonna message him, but he's either left Facebook or blocked me because I'm clearly anti-Trump. But he's lovely. You saw Dune Drifter, said nice stuff. But like, he's really nice. He always asks for the films I do, so I send them to him, and he promotes them really nicely.
Is he really bald? No, because he was like 20 in this and shaved his head.
He is
bald now.
Yeah,
good. Makes me feel better. But, fine.
Yeah. Mike Christopher is his name. He's a nice dude.
He,
just don't get into politics.
Hey, he got an action figure. Right?
He did, yes.
He got a fucking action figure. My brother had this really cool, spoilers, had a really cool zombie flyboy figure from Japan.
Sweet.
Really sweet. But there's never been like a Peter and Roger figure. Like, where's I want the fucking SWAT team. Also, Peter and Roger is the name of my dad and his brother, which is weird. And my dad's also called Peter Jackson, which is another weird thing.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. But...
you look at him and say, can you get me a free ticket for whatever Peter Jackson's making next? No, I just typed Peter Jackson.
Me and my pop should have blagged some shit, right? We should have blagged some shit. I feel like we slept on the whole Jackson dime. You know what I mean?
Yeah, look this person's available on Messenger.
Get the fuck.
He's blocked me.
You don't need him.
Son of a bitch!
You don't need him, mate. You don't need
he's probably kicked off Facebook for like tweeting some racist shit.
There is. There is.
Oh, there he is.
There is. So debut. I got to be honest. For the longest time, because that's quite a gender ambiguous character as well.
You were jacking off to that. Huh?
I still am. Yeah. More so now from what you've told me. I'm going to finish myself off after the stream. Oh fuck. Did you know? So Ivan told me. So the gonk, dun 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 dun. That's a piece of music, and it's a library piece. It's the Goblin soundtrack to this because you could buy the separate soundtracks. I've got the library soundtrack and the Goblin soundtrack on CD.
Oh wow.
And also an exceedingly dry penis, but never mind. I have both versions. So the gonk. So Ivan, my flatmate Ivan is a big muser. He really collects a lot of music, and he's really into library music. Like, it's a really interesting stuff. And Romero used loads of library music for this. And that song has lyrics, and they're kind of quite creepy and weird. It's a bit like, I can't remember. He told me, but I can't remember exactly how it goes, because it's pretty much like, ooh, the lovely girls, look at all the lovely girls, and it's a really kind of noncy sounding song.
It already sounds like I've got binoculars.
Yes.
Not much of a distance, a sort of bush, and there's a beach.
It's got kind of my lovely horse vibes, hasn't it? It's got like kind of Father Ted, My Lovely Horse. Did.
Gotta get rid of those lyrics.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, well, that's all you have now. Yeah, he found it and was like, dude, no, it's in this. One thing the Romero zombie oeuvre, if you like. So I came to it sort of technically pre-teen, I suppose, because I was like 12 or 13. I get on that cusp, People really get shot in the head quite a lot. There's like in this movie, it's not even necessarily zombies. There's a lot of people getting shot in the head. Really rather.
See that one just then, they just got shot in the chest and doing that little hop.
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
Like,
that's great.
Cool.
He grabs himself, and then there's a splat that comes out the back. Like it's fucking awesome. I've heard, so there's a couple of things going on here in terms of like the color, because this film has a very 1970s look. Yeah, it has a real kind of flat color palette, and so the really one thing that often gets talked about a lot is like the really bright blood, like really bright blood.
I love it.
Yeah, it's fucking great. I think it's all part of the thing. And Romero's thing is like, well, I wanted it to look like a comic. I wanted to have a kind of comic look. And the 4-disc Anchor Bay one that we talked about has that comic in it, which is not very good, but we won't talk about that. But he wanted a kind of flat comic look. The other thing, and there's like a purely practical concern with this film, in that they were shooting in the Monroeville Mall in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in the middle of winter. So they actually got snowed into this mall for quite a bit of the shoot.
That's right. They couldn't get the food in, right?
They couldn't get the food in, right? And they were just stuck there. But the main thing is that because they had to shoot at night, and it was someone's actual mall where they were shooting at night, and then shoppers coming in the day, except for when it was snowed in. The cinematographer had to use flat lighting schemes for most things. So the reason the lighting and the color palette's very flat is because they would do flat lighting, set up, move on, and it's really guerrilla style stuff. And there's loads of really interesting setups in it as well. And there's like that's a great moment there because it does the insert of the mannequin because he kind of comes to the mannequin, and, you know. But the reason that it has this kind of flat color thing, and it really works for it because everything about the mall is kind of bland. It's a study in blandness, and that's the point. It's supposed to represent this kind of bland consumerism. You know, so it's got this.
There's a lot of ceilings. There's a lot of low angles. When I show the ceilings, I always felt that kind of crushes everyone in a little bit.
Yeah, they kind of suspended ceiling. One thing that not the only time, but one of the time, Flyboy seems to get the most kind of like expressionist, kind of noiry lighting scenes because like when he goes into the police dock and does the radio, and when he meets a security zombie in the plant room. In
the barn as well, when he was in the barn,
right?
And stuff. Yeah,
he gets all the horror lighting, and actually when when he's fuck me, he's up there with Bub as one of the best. Yeah, him and amazing. Roger actually. And all Roger gets to do is sit up, but it's the most.
It goes through me watching him walk. Like it's like, don't do that, dude. You're gonna hurt yourself. There's so much shit in this film that I look at and just go, they are so fucked. There's guys riding around with bikes and they're just going past people who are lying down on the fucking ground, and I'm just like, that person could have got their head squished. There's a big fat guy who falls into the fountain and he nearly falls with his ribs on one.
Dude, oh my God.
His head.
I'm so glad.
I'm just like,
no one else ever fucking mentions that. And that's the thing I've always noticed. It's like he turns into like an action figure and just goes like, what?
Yeah. He's amazing, but he didn't know he's not a fucking stunk. He doesn't know what he's doing. I was like, he could have fucking.
Everyone is like from Pittsburgh who's getting $1. That's all that is.
Everyone is a couple of inches away from just getting so badly hurt, and it's amazing that no one did. It's not to say that they were reckless. They could have planned it out. Who knows? It's fine, but it just has such a chaotic, unmoderated vibe that when you see someone riding past a bike just riding past like a zombie that's dead on the floor. Well, I know they don't have the budget to put a proper dummy down. That's a person lying there. Yeah. And it's like, fucking hell, that's terrifying. I wouldn't have signed off on that.
It really... We'll see that in the last scene. You got a fucking snowed-in mall full of Vic Morrows, motherfucker. Don't be... And they're playing with helicopters. Let's not even go into that. Like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, my God.
Like, fuck. No, because it does. It feels dangerous. The film feels dangerous, and there's a. I'm pretty certain there's a bit where so when Peter's got the only sucker the only sucker that could miss, the only one that could miss with this gun is the sucker with the bread to buy it when he gets that sniper rifle, and he uses it in the end scene. There's a bit where I'm pretty certain it's one thing. He kind of shoots the guy off the sidecar of the bike. The guy takes the hit. Hits the floor and the zombies come up and eat him, and it's like that's just a geezer jumping off a moving bike onto a hard floor. Like there's no mat there. He's just fucking. Because I know Tom Savini and
Tom Savini and his mate, right? Yeah,
Tasso Stavrakis.
That's it. Yeah.
And Tasso's back for day. Like him and Tasso Stavrakis did all the stunt stuff as well. It's like so
Tom Savini is such a pro at falling, though. You can spot him every time. Like when they're running the trucks and you see a dude flying back, and there's like his body language is so professional compared to every other fucker who's falling in the front and falling off. You're like, yep, that's Tom Savini.
He's one of these people who's like 70, and I'm like, how? Like, if it wasn't for the dangerous shit you did, all the chemicals you ingest from being like a special effects wizard, like how do you do it? Like I don't know.
He looks fucking good too. Like was
I'll
he
do
60 odd, 70
I
odd?
think he's like 68, 69 or something, I think. And yeah, he looks fucking banging, mate. He looks well good. Like there's no question. I love that this is a great thing. It's a great mechanical device in a film to create tension, in that Flyboy is trying to load a single action pistol.
Oh yeah.
He's trying to load a single action pistol, and he's a weatherman. He's literally a TV weatherman. I love how many films have like a TV weatherman. And you know, it's this kind of, you can't call it reverse Russian roulette, but it kind of is, like, you know, he's trying to find the full chamber. And it's so good. It's just this amazingly tense thing, and he scores the shot finally, and you know.
Yeah, it's really great sort of tension and really good use of you know, like I don't want to be like boring with the stuff, but like close-ups. Like I always try to describe close-ups as if you think of a close-up as a thing you're physically doing with your eyes that don't have a zoom function or anything. If you want a close-up, you have to sort of like go closer to someone. And when you're that close to someone in real life, it's quite intimate. So if you're looking at a hand, there's so many deliberate things that happen with the close-ups. If you're a filmmaker and you think of close-ups in that sense, you use them appropriately, and they punctuate moments. And I think that scene is one that does that really well. And this sort of like, I always felt that Vince Gilligan looked at that scene and went, I got an idea for Hank in the parking lot in season 3 of Breaking Bad. You know, have you seen Breaking Bad?
So did they do a single action pistol type thing, or what did they do?
I kind of don't want to ruin it, but there's a major character who you're like, oh, this character's number's up, and it just drags.
Who plays Hank?
And it's just, Hank is your man from Total Recall.
Jonathan Banks. Jonathan Banks. No, not Jonathan Banks. Dean Norris.
Dean Norris, right. Yes. So yeah, he's such an excellent character in Breaking Bad. Like, yeah, I highly recommend Breaking Bad, buddy.
I know. It's yet another thing. Going back to my thing earlier, is of when the more someone tells me to watch something, the less likely I am to do it.
But look. This is what I'm doing. If you notice my pattern of trying to get you to watch stuff, I'm very soft with it. I'm not like, you need to watch.
You are good. You are good.
No, Rich. You should give Lower Decks a chance. It really sorts itself out. And then when you come back,
it did, and I hated it so much. I did a tweet saying how much I hated it. And then I was like, oh shit. And Mark was like, yeah, you just watch it some more. And I was like, actually, I really like this. Oh, that's annoying.
It fucking earns its stripes. And when it goes back to the beginning and all the issues you had, you realise when you know someone is fine.
We've got Screwdriver in the Ear happening. Sorry, just for...
to make up for a continuity error, right? That was
Yeah, that's it. Because they shot him with and without his tool belt. And they realised... It's really neat. They had to like patch up that error. And they made this little scene. Which is in which survives which version?
Fucking look at that shit.
Great. So it's a retractable screwdriver, and then it's a pipe running down the screwdriver, and the blood pipes out. And that gag when it's in there, it's fucking great, and it's just to accommodate for continuity. This film had, so like the longest version you can get is 2 hours 35, which I suggested at the beginning. It's too much. Like I've watched the longest version, and it's too much. I think this one has the right balance. I think the Argento cut. Because it was co-produced by Dario Argento, the famous Giallo.
The humour's gone in that version, isn't it? A lot of the
humour's missing, and it's very kind of action and gore focused, and a lot of the character stuff's missing as well. Whereas I think this one hits the sweet spot because there's more character stuff in the longer one, but I think it really affects the pacing. So I read somewhere that this film has like 4 times as many cuts as you normally find a film with a period.
Wow.
So it's lots of really rapid cuts in this movie, which you get now. Modern filmmaking.
I love this. Isn't this so great though? Like look at that. It's like now they're all like whereas Flyboy was like, no, oh, you hate me because I nearly got you killed, and they're all fucking bonded now. It's so fucking cool. It's like, because the script writing book these days, you may notice, says there has to be tension. So for no reason, characters are at each other's throats in normal scenes, and it's like, fuck, really? Is that it?
It's so exhausting, isn't it? As well, when everyone just shouts at each other for no reason, it's just
like
fucking...
it's. This is the thing. I like the J.J. Abrams Star Trek films.
I like the first and the third one. We've talked about this. I like the first and the third one. I do not like the second one.
I've got a very odd thing with them where I think the first one is amazing for 2/3, and then the end, the last, like they're good bits, but it's not great. the last one is, I think, kind of the strongest one, but the one that's consistent from start to finish that I can just watch and go, okay, I know where I am with this. It's fine. It's the second one. I don't despise it, but what I hate, I hate. What I like. But it's consistent from start to finish. And so, but there's but in that, the second one, the issue with that is that, oh shit, we made Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock friends. We don't know how to develop that any further, so let's just have them not be friends at the beginning again. It's like, you fucking did this already. That's, you know,
and that's definitely, it's one of my issues with that, because it just does that again, and it's like, well, why? You did this. I think there was the good thing about Duncan is that Duncan stops me talking about Star Trek. Anyway, Mark.
Oh no, you're fucked, mate. Sorry, everyone. We're down to the 6 people who would watch.
They're well into it, mate. Well, okay, I'll go back to this for a moment, because the way the group bonds is really important, and the others don't know Fran's pregnant yet, and we don't know Fran is pregnant yet.
Yeah, she might have done a couple of little things, isn't she? But we don't.
Yeah, it's really subtly thrown in things. And the thing is, these guys bond. So the real, because it's that thing, you know, where you introduce 2 of your mates and they don't get on, because Peter is the one, Roger's the one that knows Peter and Stephen, but they don't know each other. And there's the almost got killed shit, blah, blah, and they bond in this moment, and it's important. And they bond, and he kind of goes, "Hey, you did all right, Flyboy," and they kind of, the friendship's there. But the problem is, and the important thing to remember is that we have that parallel action where we're cutting to Fran, who's been abandoned. So they're all off having their boys' fun, but Fran has been fucking left to fend for herself unfairly. So the group isn't complete yet. And when the group does sort of become complete, then Roger gets taken out of the equation. And then you've got the ticking time bomb of Fran being pregnant, but then that kind of does the Venn diagram with Roger being bitten. And it's this, that's so good, man. Fuck the zombies in a way. Like it's the stuff that goes on inside the group that's really important.
All they're doing is they're messing with the dynamic that we care about. That's what they're doing, and that's your tension. Is that you want them to be all right, but things keep happening so that they're not. But then, it's that ticking clock sort of way of doing it. It's perfect.
If you ever want to do,
oh, here he comes!
It's Mark's mate. Here he comes.
Unless he's blocked me.
Mark's former friend who blocked him for his liberal sympathies. It's the Harry Krishna zombie. I believe the gun store isn't in the mall, by the way. I think the gun store is actually outside of the Monroeville Mall. I think they had to shoot it somewhere else.
That's right. Yeah, it is. So I was looking at the last bunch of messages just in case something went wrong.
Yeah, sorry, no, I've not been watching the chat as much as I can.
Hang on, let me read them to you. Right? Is that? Here's Doomdrift. I gave him that. He's like, he says a really nice thing about Doomdrift. It'd be a prick if I read that. And I went, you're really generous. I answered a couple of his questions. He calls me a god.
Excellent.
Asked me when it's coming out, and I was like, it's going to come out December 7th, way back in the day when I was really excited.
Eyes on screen, because this is the person Mark is talking about. This is very good. But this zombie, so has he blocked you?
I don't know. He doesn't seem to be on Facebook, so he probably retweeted something that was, kill Jill Biden or something, and so, so now he's been kicked off Facebook.
Well, that's the character you see on screen, who I hope and assume, has not a lot of legal clout. I don't know.
Well, look, if he was on Facebook and friends with me, he'd know I was doing this. But seeing as I'm blocked or he's not on it anymore, he doesn't know nothing.
Oh my god, it'd be so good if he checked in and was just kind of like, what are these fuckers talking about?
Oh yeah, well, I'm not being mean, I'm not ripping into his politics. I clearly disagree with him. Yeah.
But, Dan Lyle says, I can't drink this awful wine while they drink whiskey sours. I've been out for a big bottle of rum. Dan Lyles! Getting his big bottle of rum, son. Good on you, man. Good on you, Dan.
Rum and ginger beer, mate, is the thing.
Rum and ging. Great. Love a rum and ging. Fucking lovely. You've had rum and ting? You've had ting?
What's rum and ting? No.
Ting is a Jamaican sort of grapefruit soda that you can get in the world food aisle. And you can have rum and ting.
Oh shit! I had rum and root beer. That was how I first got into it. Nice. My brother bought me for it. Was a Christmas. So I was looking after the dog, and I was just sort of like in Wales, and I loved it. No one was around. I was like, okay, I guess I'll rum, root beer. Fuck it. Let's see what happens. Mate, it's the fucking best thing I've ever had. I was like, it's fucking amazing. It's not good for me, so I try not to eat it. Try not to drink it.
Yeah. Well, that's
no! Don't kill the Harry Krishna zombies, my friend.
What's fucking, I forgot his name. Garak. Do you remember the episode of DS9? I'll be quick. Yeah. Remember the episode of DS9 where Garak and Quark talk about the Federation in relation to root beer?
It's fucking brilliant.
You know that scene, absolutely, right?
Yeah.
Check this. This is fucked up. So in 2019, when I was away, I was working in the States. I was in my hotel room and one of the random channels would play Star Trek, and I was surfing American TV, which is very confusing to me. And because of that episode, I went into Panda Express. We were having our dinner. Don't judge us. And I was like, I'm going to try root beer. And I was like, oh God, that's gross. And I went home to the hotel, turned the TV on, and that scene of that episode was on the TV. And I was just kind of like, oh, but Quark says to try it more because it grows on you. And readers, it did.
Oh shit!
yeah, it was fucking weird. And I sort of went into the other people in the film who don't watch Star Trek, and they were just kind of like, we don't know him very well. Is he all right? you know what I mean? It's just like, what's he fucking talking about, the cunt? But yeah, it's true. That exact scene came on when I decided to be American and try root beer. And I was like, this is disgusting. Oh. This is vile. And by the end, I was like, if I go into fucking Panda Express, I get all the root beer I want. This is pretty sick. I'm all right with this.
It's good with the rum in it. Throw some rum in that shit. You're in business.
Yes, mate. And speaking of the soft beers, root, ginger, the other one, all good with rum. All good with rum.
The rum is fucking brilliant. It goes with anything except water.
I've noticed that England has started selling in the supermarket like when I'm feeling like a fat cunt, I have vodka and soda, yeah. But England started selling hard soda, and it's like, don't sell me vodka in fizzy rain. That's not a drink. Fuck out of here with that.
Do you know what my plan B was? This is what it's not my plan. It was going to be my plan A until you taught me about flasks and their capacity for keeping whiskey sours. So I have like a prosecco in there. I have some soda. I was just going to make a bunch of fucking what the fuck is this shit called? Aperol Spritz.
Oh, Aperol Spritz. Yeah.
The ingredients there, I'm not that familiar with them yet. Yeah, they're all right, man.
It's very drinkable. Very drinkable, man. Very drinkable drink. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the lockdown has barely kept me away from sniffing glue, to be perfectly honest. I'll be Wednesday night in with me and a Pritt stick. Lovely stuff. Am I doing this right?
You know what? I went through a phase, right, where I was just like, what are the drug dealers going to do? Are they getting their shit? People are traveling.
What about the drugs economy? Is everything okay?
Like, I wouldn't want to be a mule if I was one of 18 people on a flight. They got a lot of time to really, really check my shit. I was like, those poor guys, because where's the cocaine going to go?
I just comically dropped my chair down because I was laughing and I touched the thing. Anyway,
think about the poor drug dealers.
Well, it's a whole economy. You know what I mean? Also, Fran. I like Fran. Like, I know it's the set. Duncan and I always make jokes about how the 1970s was, but Fran knowingly pregnant, tucking into a cigarette in this scene. It's just, and also just
the best she can do to make sure that she doesn't bring a baby into a zombie world. It's all she's got.
What the fuck? That's the thing, because like her surviving with Peter, that's not good.
Shellfish. Like, I'm gonna go find some shellfish.
You think we could start up a roller coaster? Can I dye my hair?
Breck was going to punch me in the stomach really hard. I read about this. It'll definitely work.
I mean, malls have coat hangers, Mark. That's all I'm saying.
Flyboy's like, there's a lot of flights of stairs in this. It's just,
Yeah, it's the Home Alone with Micro Machines type situation. But because joking aside, like Fran survive because Fran becomes increasingly pregnant across the film, and that's a ticking time bomb, and that they get away and they don't have any fuel, and the broad plan is Canada, but it's this massively ambiguous ending. I mean, she was supposed to, the original scripted ending was that Peter shoots himself and she fucking decapitates herself.
But that was, they didn't want to waste the. I don't think they didn't want to waste it, but it wasn't the Frankenstein zombie meant to imply what was going to happen.
Yeah, it's kind of a setup to the.
What I thought was the way you kill a character in a film, that your audience, because George Romero's really smart. He knows that people are here for the gore, they're here for the violence, and he knows enough to go. Well, every time brains go everywhere, people are like, "Yeah, that's what we're here for."
Well, it's Chekhov's pistol, isn't it? It's the brains version.
We don't see. Oh God, what's his name? Scott. You don't see the little guy. You don't see
Roger.
him die. Yeah, Roger dies off screen because if you showed his brains going up the wall, it's like a yay moment.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe Fran, when she looks up at the blades and just stands up, I think they would have done it like that so you don't see it, because Romero knows enough to know that we don't feed the bloodlust. Which, as much as I love The Fly, I think the biggest fuck up in that movie is when you see the puppet's head explode.
I agree. I've always thought that because it's just another gag.
Yeah,
it's just another gag at that point.
It's amazing. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
it's
nothing
not
wrong with it. But the whole thing of, because Brundle realizes far too late that he's the monster. You know, it's the kind of Frankenstein situation, and he takes his hand and he puts the gun to his head.
I'm busy crying. Don't show a puppet explosion.
Yeah, what you want? Yeah, exactly. What you want is Gina Davis crying and a flash in her face.
Yeah,
because that film very quickly cuts to credits as well. That film,
just a bang, and then a flash. Something can fly up on a focus, and then smoke. And then she just does that shot where she drops down. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been, and I was just like, oh, okay. So that's the only, like, don't get me wrong, fucking one of the best films I've ever seen.
Oh god, amazing, incredible movie.
It's a no notes film, but there's a note.
Yeah, there's a note.
But that always made me go.
Mate, I've always thought that. The thing in it. So when Roger dies, firstly, because they're principal characters, they don't just get the grey pancake. Well, actually, to be fair, Flyboy gets the kind of grey pancake makeup, whereas Roger's one is tissue paper, I think. So he's all kind of shrunken and everything.
What happens is we've worked this out in Colin. If you put the makeup on like this, and you stretch your face, the latex settles.
So it conforms to that.
So it looks wrinkly and dry. So we figured that out, and we were like, "Oh, try that." So one of the things we did in Colin was, like, Alistair was just sort of grey for a while because we wanted him to get more damage as the film went on. And then we thought, well, look, you need to have something here because this is like a big moment. So we just had him put all the latex on his cheeks or any part of him that would fold or relax, and it would change the texture of the skin. So it just got really wrinkly, and it was really, we were surprised when it happened, on an earlier day, and we were just like, oh, we'll remember that, we'll do that later. So yes, I think that's what they did. So they put it on like that, and then they just layered it up, and it ended up working really well.
He said both him and Flyboy, because I get that most of the zombies in this are non-actors, and him and Flyboy really sell, particularly David Emge. I don't know, I can never say it. MG. He's so good because he reacts to every place he was bitten. So like every blood chunk out of his calf and stuff, he can't use it properly. And interestingly though, in contrast to what we did just say, and it works in this context, you do get the gag with him. You do get the brains fly out. But it's because it's that Kuleshov effect thing where it's intercut with Fran watching it.
We're also desensitized to it at this point because we've seen that his head doesn't explode.
No, yeah,
we've seen it loads of times, and we're desensitized. The thing about this film that's quite amazing is that you get desensitized as it rolls on. So you see so much of this sort of violence and blood splatting everywhere that you get used to it. Funnily enough, we were talking about the color of the blood, and I remember I always go up to my colorist on all of our films, and like, I want it to look like fucking crayon.
Yes.
And that's what he definitely doesn't want. So he's always we're always a bit of a push and pull, and I'm like,
because it takes some doing to make any, like, in my experience, things that I've shot, it's quite difficult to make most things a flat color. Like, that really takes a bit of wrangling to do, and this is outside. I'm talking digitally. This is inside the chemical process and inside film and stuff. But it's really quite difficult to take anything, because you can. Okay, so look, now essentially you can sort of cheat it with the Ultra key, can't you? And just sort of select a thing and just keep playing with the parameters until it does what you want.
There's good, like if you're working in DaVinci, which is what Roma,
the Blackmagic software.
He can isolate moments and little bits, and he can motion track it really well and say, right, I'll bring out this. We do it a lot with we had to do it in Doom Drifter because I was like, I really want the red to pop, so he had to isolate the suit and all this, like, black volcanic sand landscape, and really I was like, look, you got to make it much brighter than natural, so she really pops out in the landscape. So all of those things we were sort of doing on that film.
That was in that movie you did, because it's her jumpsuit against the sort of grey landscapes, isn't it?
Yeah, because the bad guys are sort of similar colours to the landscape. They're so they could pop up from anywhere, but she stands out no matter how small she is in frame. And that was always the thing we wanted to really make her pop. And he was like, he'll do it. He's like, oh, I can do it with this. This makes me comfortable. And then skin tones, we'd add more saturation and stuff, just so that would.
It is amazing what you can do now. It really is, in terms of. I've got a more boring version than yours.
Try me, man. I'm pretty sure I'll be interested. No, everything you say fascinates me. I'll be the judge of how boring you. Oh, look at that! Oh, I love it.
This scene's amazing
zombie stroking
and
his
also
face.
Just like this needs to be said, right? Fran is the same. A year before Ellen Ripley. It's Fran.
It is, yeah.
And she, because that's what I love about Fran as a character, and it kind of, you know, because Barbara is not the best character in the world in Night, but Fran, they kind of leave her on her own. She's like, she has a scene where she goes, "Don't dick me about. I'm a fucking adult. Like, fine if you're going to leave me, but if you're going to leave me with a gun. And just because I'm a woman, I'm not any different from you." Like, because she said that line about her pots and pans and stuff.
Yeah.
And then here, because Roger, I sort of love that Roger goes all Vietnam and sort of loses it, and Fran's able to sort of like take good hits from the top of the mall, like, you know, half a mile away or whatever.
Romero said that he learned a lot from, because I think he realized in Night how bad Barbara came across, and he was like, "Oh, okay," and he was aware of it. He said he really learned everything from is it Galen Ross?
Galen Ross, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she said, "I'm not going to scream."
Yes, like, yeah, Galen Ross. That's great. That's on the doc. She just said to him, "I'm not going to scream," and she has that bit where she's like, they leave her with the Harry Krishna zombie, and then from there on, she's fucking rocking because she learns how to use the guns and stuff. And
she didn't know how to play that. She was like, "Fuck, how do I do this? Like, if I'm not going to scream, what the fuck am I doing?" And she went to see an acting coach, and the acting coach was just like, "Well, you're shocked, you're surprised, like you shouldn't act like you've not seen this before." Like, you've not done like
she tells the story, doesn't she? Because it was like her acting coach was this old Russian woman.
Yeah,
she
that's
does
right,
it with the accent. Have you seen the film Madman? It's the only other thing I've seen Galen Ross in, movie Madman.
Oh no, I haven't. No.
It's a Friday the 13th knockoff called Madman, and Galen Ross is in it, and it's the only other thing I've seen Galen Ross in. And I was kind of like, yeah, she's cool. I kind of, because she's one of my favorite movie characters, and it's the only other movie I've seen.
Yeah,
so you know,
I think that's the thing that Romero does really well. He's just so good at getting like. I tell one of the things in the commentary for this. Tom Savini's constantly like, "Oh, that used to be my girlfriend. That used to be my girlfriend."
Okay, so I don't want to get into any legal trouble, but
he says it on the commentary. I'm not. Like,
no. That's a verifiable fact. I just don't want to say anymore. Like, I'm just saying. Okay, here's what I'm going to say because I've had some whiskey. I think Savini's laid some pipe, mate. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, I got that from this.
Yeah, right. Like, just this movie. It's like, man laid some pipe.
This is one of them.
Man laid some pipe.
This is one of his girlfriends. He's like,
look, that gag where her face blows out is amazing. There's a shot.
That's how we bonded with her. He was just like, "No, hey, you're okay. You're pretty cool. Yeah, I'll just put your face in some clay."
Blow your face out. So So Roger, I think Roger pushes this zombie off, and then the other one comes up and he shoots him 3 times in the head. Is it this guy with the? Also, it's carried on the tool using. The tool using thing runs all the way from Night to Land. By the way, I'm not. Yeah. The second trilogy I'm less mad about, but so you see that when he shoots the guy in the head.
Yeah.
Do you know how that gag's done with the bullet?
Was that?
This is really good.
Penny on the.
Yeah. Right, precisely. So he gets a penny or a button with fishing wire, and he glues it to the head. He packs that with a little blood pack, covers that in mortician's wax, covers that in blue or whatever, and then just wallop pulls the fishing wire, and off it comes.
Yeah, we've done that a few times for bullet hits. We got a condom. And we've tied it with like fishing wire. We've gaffer taped on someone's arm, and 3, 2, 1, and we yank it, and it just goes like that, and it looks great for bullet hits.
I used to do in my I have a metal hard flight case with all my special effects stuff in from when I was at uni, and I used to do air pressure squibs for our stuff. So you bit of hose pipe and a garden squirter, and you fill it with bits of sponge and blood, because in this country you're not going to get saltpeter in home base, so you can't. But yeah, I did a bunch of gags for movies where you pump up I was like 19 as well. You pump up the bottle, and you would run the hose pipe over the person's back. You seal up the bottom of the length of the hose pipe, then you have a hole in it, and you pack that with sponge to be chunks, and then you score the shirt and reapply it with glue, and when the air comes out, the shirt goes blow, so the shirt rips, and then all chunks of sponge come out and loads of blood pisses. It looked fucking awesome.
That's fucking great. No, we've done a couple of things that it's been okay. It's hit and miss. We've not had like it's it's one of those things you look at and go, that's why everyone does things digitally these days, because I could just squirt blood across the screen, film that in this lighting scenario against green, and then add that on later, and it goes where you want it. It's
so what we've got. So people are vaguely aware that Duncan and I are getting a short off the ground, and so I as Mark intimated earlier,
I just blew that, didn't I?
No, it's fine. We've already talked. We've already talked about it, mate. We've already talked about it, and you very sweetly made a point of saying people who send scripts are shit, but not yours. Thanks.
No, yours wasn't. No,
no. Hey, look, man, I'm very, very grateful for you even looking at it. It was like, we are in the we've got some funding in place, and we're in the process of getting that ready. And I wanted a grown up to see it, which is you in this situation.
God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
look, don't listen. If Spielberg would have shown me Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I would have gone, It's
amazing. This is the best thing I've ever seen. Yeah,
and then he would have been like, you fucking told me it was wicked. Well, I liked it.
I've seen the script. I liked it. Well, anyway, my point being
I don't trust my opinion, so don't put any stock in it. But I did love it. It was
I'm making it anyway. It's too late, mate. It's too late.
I know what bad shit is, and it's not bad by any stretch. It's fucking excellent. I really enjoyed it. I read it twice before I messaged you because I didn't want to misinterpret it.
That's very kind, Matt. Look, I wanted to just tell a good horror story. Anyway, the reason I brought it up, apart from being horribly self-serving, is that we're going to do is, I hate, people get really pissy about this. We're going to do as much digitally as we can because we need to get on and off that location as quick as possible, and we don't have any money. We have a small amount of money. Like we and there are certain things, because you've read it, right? It's not. It's gross, right? It's grim and horrible. Violent acts happen because it's a horror short, but it's not intended to be graphic. And I'm not going to dwell on how graphic it is particularly, and part of that is doing things digitally because we can do that now. And the fact is, if there's one thing you suggested a shot to me where you said about that.
God, I'm sorry.
I don't want to spoil it, but there's two people like this, and there's a crane on their backs.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to have a pool of blood expanding. That's the only thing I'm going to do with real blood. Everything else is digital. And I wish I had fully practical effects. I like 35mm film. It's a fucking luxury, and I'm not Christopher Nolan or Quentin Tarantino, so
Yeah, this stuff is. I think that's the thing is. I realized actually, Rich, that you were going to talk about your crayon color blood story, and then I jumped in, and people might be watching, going, "What the fuck was Richard's story? You boring cunt." So me being the boring cunt, not you.
Did I have a crayon colored blood story?
I said I was talking about how I told Roma to grade the blood to look like crayon, and you said, "Oh, I've got a story," and then I think I cut you off.
Oh, did you? Well, I'd forgotten about it, so that's fine. So probably I don't have a story.
No, everyone watching hates me even more. They were like,
don't worry. Don't worry. You haven't seen the messages I have to delete. People hate me a lot. It's fine.
Oh man, look, is that what happens? Shit, I was. Every time I do a video with you guys, yours is the only YouTube comments I can read. I'm like,
actually, no. I've got to say, I have to say, big time, particularly because we got a guest on.
Yeah, we know this, man. They're fucking lovely.
Oh, Lord, you guys are so fucking nice. Like, we're so lucky. And we're kind of a small channel, and I know like the shitheads flow in, but quite often Duncan and I get really drunk and sort of go, "We fucking love you guys, we fucking love," whatever. But we've got everybody who has ever collaborated with us, and even people who have never collaborated with us, but like a load of like people who moderate for us, people who are just sort of involved in the channel. They always kind of say to us, your guys are so lovely, like they're so nice. And like when we first started out, we used to get really shitty comments like from people, but they were still the minority. And particularly in the pandemic times, like on the level, we've barely deleted anything. We've barely deleted everything. We're so lucky to have you lot. Like they're so nice.
Yeah, we've had this conversation like privately plenty of times, haven't we? We're sort of like, oh god, everyone's really nice. So this like, sorry for bringing it up. I don't know if it's a good thing to bring up, but because we've had this conversation, and whoever's here, I'm like, you guys are fucking lovely. So it's the Jaws when I was just like, oh, that's really nice. I might even have learned something.
Right.
About a film I've always loved. It's like it's great. It's good, man. I think that's kind of what you want though with your communities. You want them to be like, it feels like friends. I think whenever I watch you guys on Thursdays, I've been able to do it. I was like, I get beers and I'm like, and I'm texting you guys and I realize I'm ruining your streams.
No, we like to have you text, man. Come on.
But I was speaking to Brad and I was like, fuck, I ruined their stream. He's like, I paid him 10 quid just so I could fucking give him some abuse. And they'd read it. I was like, oh, okay.
That is the privilege of the Speaking of super chats, Wing Chong Exchange gives £10. Wing Kong Exchange supports us on Patreon. Wing Kong is a big time OG over at Val Verde and been with us since the beginning. I bloody love you too, he says. Steve Allen says, apart from me, Mark, you're the worst, the absolute bloody worst. And let me tell you that from us to you, you think you're that, but you ain't that. And then he says in brackets, I jest, Mark, you're actually lovely, and I love listening to you saying awesome things about Dawn.
Oh, that's
see what
sweet.
I mean? Like, it's so nice. It's so nice.
The pep talk before I did this, and Richard was like, "You can't say this."
That's true.
But I really feel this because I know you feel this, but you can't fucking say it to people in a public forum. You fucking idiot. And I'm like, all right,
I've told you, Mark. I've told you. What Mark hasn't told you is...
Yet I still said that I really loved Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And I was like,
we're secretly in opposite ends of the same room. And we were just violently fighting, beating each other like it's not all right.
This is his glass. I've licked it.
It's all the same. Vote Saxon 07. Vote Saxon is Stephen McCullough, who did Risky Quizzes with us. He's a big friend of the channel. We've done collabs and stuff. He's a fucking top guy. He says, "Stop it, you soppy prick." He says. No, we're very lucky, man. We're really lucky. I said this the other night. Like, I would rather, because we're not, we don't have the biggest following in the world, but I'm really fine. Like, the one we have is so nice. It's like, yeah, I'm fine with this. It's like, you know,
it's the focus of people who like share the enthusiasm 100% across the board, and that's what we want, really, isn't it?
So we don't get the hugest amount of comments. Like, we do get comments, and that's lovely, but it's mostly the chats, because we've become this thing where it's live now. So and this is a double week for live. We get these lovely comments in the chats. It's really sweet. It's really sweet.
It's great. I'm actually like, as I'm generally, I'm often sort of like, I'm very aware of when I'm doing these things. I'm sort of on, you know. It's like, okay, here's my behavior.
Oh no, you are on. And I put in.
But with you guys, I say cunt all the time. My mum could be watching.
No, no, it's so good. Like, because Duncan and I went through this thing. We're like, we're not going to swear, and it's just like, oh fuck that. It lasted like 5. Let me tell you this, right? So Duncan and I had this thing. So what Duncan and I used to do is we'd meet up twice a month, okay? So one time we'd be at my place and we would spend a whole day filming 4 episodes of our show, and then 2 weeks later I'd go to his place and see him and his wife, and we'd film, we'd record 4 commentaries. Okay, so we had this kind of, we'd meet up twice a month and we'd pile in like 8 episodes total, so it's a month's worth of content. So we're doing twice a week, da da da. And we went on because like 10 episodes where we can't swear because YouTube apparently hates swearing now. And I think we didn't even manage a day. And then by the 4th episode we were saying cunt again. It's like, do you know what? I think within our niche everything's fine, so I wouldn't worry about it. It's you know, don't worry. It's totally fine. It's like, I don't know, like, because I watch channels I watch, people say cunt, and it's like, wow, you know,
same here.
What's the fucking? I just want to talk about one of my Dawn of the Dead mysteries that was resolved. My big Dawn of the Dead mystery was resolved recently, and I want to talk to you about it.
Oh shit! Okay, what was your mystery?
Here's my Dawn of the Dead mystery, and I'm talking to my daughter. So my other Dawn of the Dead friend is Duncan Rule. Some people call him Duncan Prime. He's like Alterna Duncan. Duncan Rule is my good old buddy from going back years and years. I was like a steward at his wedding and stuff. We're good mates, and we really bonded over this movie and other movies.
Isn't this movie? This is the best movie for making best lifelong friends, isn't it?
It really is, man. It massively is.
I thought it was Star Wars, but it turns out it's this.
It's this. Also, sorry, when Roger gets in the back of the car and she puts her thumb in his calf. Oh my god! Oh my god! No, the blood pisses out. So Duncan.
It's already. Here we go.
Here we go. And also, yeah, she's got just.
She comes. You fucking. Look, watch it. She's so
slow, and it blows up as well. It's so horrible. But luckily, Peter's there to blast her with the rifle. Oh, it's so horrible.
Where were you a minute ago, Peter? You fucking klutz.
Anyway. Klutz. Well, Roger was fucked anyway, right? He's already been bitten, so it's done. But,
it's just this.
And there's a bit. Okay, so my zombie mystery's coming up. So Duncan Rule, he reviewed Dawn and Day, and do you remember the guy who was on the Threads video with me?
Of course, yeah.
That's Duncan Rule. So we did Threads. Also, the one with the headscarf looks like Winona Ryder. Am I just mad? She looks like a Wish.com Winona Ryder, the one with the headscarf.
It's going to turn into Tom Savini in a second when he's dragging.
Big bearded geezer being dragged behind the car.
There we go. That was the other guy. That was Tess. Also Tess. What's his name?
Tasso Stavrakis.
There we go.
Okay.
I
Anyway,
suddenly realised how racist that might have sounded that I didn't get his name right now. I'm just like, oh shit, I didn't mean that.
I can't guarantee that I'm getting it right, Mark. So let's not worry about it. It's not. We can chill a little bit. Okay.
Like an actor had their hands burned for real. Then did you see that? That was
No. That's the thing. It's the horror. This is the massive danger. Also, you see where when he shuts the zombie's hand in the door and it just goes closed. In the longer versions, you see the hand come off. But not seeing it is so much more effective.
I thought it was going to come up because I've seen that shot. Yeah. Okay. Cool,
I think it's more effective when you see the. Anyway, here's my Dawn of the Dead mystery, which we're going to see in a minute. When Fran is locked in the store, there's a zombie, and this was my thing for ages, and I got the resolution to the mystery when we were recording the episode. So Duncan Rule was on camera, and Duncan Casey was behind camera. And so Fran is sat here in the thing and she's looking out and there's a baseball zombie who comes. Do you remember the zombie that comes and makes it like a pathetic noise and comes and whines at her? He goes like, like he has a baseball outfit that says Barks Arco Pitcairn. And I was like, ever since I watched this film as a teenager, I was like, what's a Barks Arco Pitcairn? What does that mean? What kind of obtuse American mystery is this? And I carried that with me for about 20 years and I said it to Duncan Rule on the stream. And within a minute, Duncan Casey just kind of went, Arco is a petrol station, Pitcairn is a place, and Bark is who owned it. And it was like, oh. Like if I'd done some rudimentary Googling, I would have solved it. But no, absolutely not.
All those words are still a mystery to me. So
Barks, Arco, Pitcairn. What am I supposed to do with that? Like Arco. I say, so when I went to the States, last time I was in the States, here he is, here he comes. And I sort of want a Barks Arco Pitcairn sweater. But like, when I was in the States, I saw an Arco. I did a day of shooting and I saw an Arco and I was like, Casey was right. It's not a lie. And like Pitcairn is a place. Look, Barks Arco Pitcairn.
To be fair, it does look like that was put on the T-shirt for shits and giggles. It doesn't look like a genuine thing you'd buy.
I could go. Yeah. Oh no, I've seen it. But Arco is a petrol station. Pitcairn is a place, and Bark is in America where people just franchise shit everywhere. Yeah.
They all got together.
Mark, can I hate to do this to a guest, right?
You're going to pee?
Yeah, if I had like the quickest piss, would you be all right handling things for a minute?
Cool. You go for it.
Do you want to do shifts? You're going to go when I come back?
Okay, what should I talk about? Shall I
talk about what's on the screen? Just be as unracist as possible. I say is the best thing.
I'm going to work on it.
Hang tight.
I don't know how I said. Shit.
Okay.
What was that?
That was a pair of trainers that I'm working on. It's fine.
Oh, nice.
And a box. No, everything's fine. I mean, basically, it was nothing glass. That's all you need to know, isn't it? That's fine. Okay. I'll go for a pee. I'll go for the world's quickest pee. I'll be right back. I promise.
Good luck. Okay. So I noticed in the background it says Val Verde Broadcasting. Does that mean they're going to be casting a load of women? Is this a sexist thing? I have no idea. Yes, okay. Oh my god! So I've got to carry this now. So this is quite scary because this is the part of the film where there's kind of a lull. So I'm kind of, I don't really know what to do. I guess I could talk about like when we were sort of looking into the sort of zombies that we wanted to do for Calling. One of the things I always liked about Romero films was that they never really explained why there was a zombie outbreak. There was never anything. So in the noughties, there was a lot of stuff about because like bird flu had come out and the swine flu come out like it's a fucking movie. But those were quite prominent. And then every zombie film that came out around that area, around that time, was just this constant thing where like, swine flu was caused this, bird flu was caused this. And it's dated so horribly now. If you watch any one of those films now, you're like, oh yeah, that was that thing. It's kind of not how things work. And there's a mini-series of The Stand that's come out. And that starts with, Captain Tripp's sort of the virus that gets out and wipes out humanity. And that's really fascinating. Like I kind of find that really interesting, but it's not based on anything real. It kind of takes its own thing and runs with it, so it can never be sort of disproven as time goes on, because we know that swine flu and bird flu don't cause zombies because that's over now. And I reckon in about a year's time, we're going to see loads of zombie movies where, COVID-19 mutation caused this zombie outbreak to occur. And we're going to see a load of shit movies that are I was bitching on swine flu and bird flu and all the zombie movies that came out because of that.
I think this pandemic's going to kill it, mate. I think people have had enough. I think having lived through it is going to kill it. I really do.
Well, we were talking about this earlier. You haven't seen the new Stan series, have you? Yet? It's good. I enjoyed it.
And they went into production before this, right? Like, is that the?
Yeah. It's good. I liked it. But I have, this is the really fucked up thing, is when It came out, the new It movies, I was like, I love the 90s miniseries. I really genuinely.
Hey, well, so Dan Lyle's, the guys who I've been working with, they've got the It docs coming out.
What?
Yeah,
What's
so
this?
No, Dead Mouse that I did the Freddy Krueger doc with.
Wow.
I did a day on their RoboCop doc. I shot an interview with Mark. Oh my god,
was that the RoboDoc?
Yeah.
Doc?
Second unit
great,
on RoboDoc. He was director of Punisher and Dead Heat.
Okay.
Really famous guy.
Like, well, hang on. The Dead Heat with Piscopo.
Yeah, the Dead Heat.
Fuck, that's a fucking great.
Yeah,
movie.
no, we did a watch party for Dead Heat. I know his.
What?
Yeah, we did a watch party. Well, me and Ivan.
Oh man, I missed that.
Yeah. Mark Goldblatt. I went to Mark Goldblatt's house. I've been to Mark Goldblatt's house, man. It was fucking sweet.
Sweet.
Wait, what were we saying? I could just start.
I was talking about he was doing an It. There's an
yes.
It
So those guys are doing the It doc, and Dan Lyles did the poster for that, and he did the poster for the Freddy one that I worked on.
Shit.
So and the It doc's going to be, and they interviewed like Tim Curry is not in the best state, but they went to his house and they interviewed Tim Curry. They've got a Tim Curry interview. They spoke to everybody. They spoke to Seth Green. They spoke to everyone. So that miniseries fucking rocks, man. Like it's cool.
This is the expression of restraint. I'm not making a terrible, inappropriate joke. It's a clip, but I don't do that.
Okay, I'm gonna pour myself another drink from the old flask here. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I wouldn't have said it. Yeah, I'll fucking text you it later, but.
I'll text you it later. You can text me now if you want. I mean,
no, you text everyone who's watching. It's just I shouldn't say it because I want to keep working.
Yes, no, I understand. I think that's.
I
think that's what like Duncan.
Duncan's like, I can't shit on films anymore. I need a job.
That's bless him. Well, that's Duncan's anxiety because like he's kind of like, look, I'm a working actor. I'm in the industry, and I'm just kind of like. I'm a serial masturbator with a rented house. Like I can say what I like. So bless him. I just have to,
No, actually, no. Both of those things, except where Duncan says I work in the industry, I want to put the word aspiring before that. But I'm definitely not an aspiring masturbator.
Aspiring masturbator. You work in the industry. What are you talking about? You got movies out. Martin Scorsese saw Colin. Everyone, I'm going to embarrass you. Martin Scorsese saw Colin, didn't he?
He said some nice things, yes.
Yeah. Martin Scorsese saw your movie and put it in a list of movies. That's incredible.
This is how I shift uncomfortably.
Yeah, I know. It's sort of like, yeah, I know. I know that feeling.
The thing about that I'm sort of like, the thing that doesn't make me cringe too much is at the time, Alistair, who is one of my closest friends, who played Colin, I was staying in his flat to look after his cat for a couple of weeks whilst him and his girlfriend went away. And so because they're very lovely people, they were like, come down, we'll cook you food the night before, we'll all hang out, we'll have a couple of drinks. And I was like, okay, so I was there for the hang out with them part before they went away. And so I woke up in the middle of the night needing a piss. So I was like, use my phone to light the way. I saw an alert. I was like, what's that? Looked at it, and on Twitter, someone said, I see Martin Scorsese, likes your film. And I was like, I don't know. And the person who sent that to me, bless him, I didn't know who it was. And so
was that a DM or that was a tag in a tweet? Were you?
It was a tweet. It was tweeted at me.
Right.
But and I was like, okay. And it was like a GQ article. And I remember just sort of reading it. And it was basically Martin Scorsese shitting on zombie movies about how much he loves vampires, but he doesn't like zombies. And I just went, oh no. So I skimmed it and got to and then he brought up Colony and he mentioned it as an exception. And I was
that's
just like,
pretty fucking nuts, mate. That's crazy.
And I was like, Alistair's in bed right now and he's with his girlfriend and it's 3 a.m. Can I just run in the room and go, guys, you're not going to believe this? and I didn't, but instead I just, I was awake and I couldn't sleep, but I was very excited, and yeah, there was nothing I could do except wait for the adrenaline to subside and finally go to sleep.
What a thing to happen!
And try to catch them before they went on holiday. And I caught them at breakfast, and I was like, "Dude, Martin Scorsese, your fucking face is in his fucking eyes and in his brain. He fucking saw that shit." And I was so excited.
Are you and Alistair? So Alistair played Colin. Are you guys old mates? You like proper, or you're just really good friends, or?
You know what? Alistair was an amazing actor who I worked with through someone for a play, and I remember thinking, fuck, I did you a disservice, like just in the way I sort of directed him and got the shots that was needed for the video content for the play. And I initially was like, and I got on with him really well. I thought, I need to make this up to you. So, because I was worried he was going to hate what he saw in the play. And I don't think that ever came up, but I was just really worried that I'd sort of not done the best job. And so he did another thing with me, and we got on really well. And he was really good at saying, "What are you going to do next?" And I went, "Actually, this. Do you want to do something in it?" And we would always do that. And then when it came to sort of Colin, I just said, "Oh, do you want to do this?" I mean, and I misread his reply, and I thought he wasn't interested. So I was looking at other people, and then and then he was like, I said, "Oh, hopefully you can do it." I said, "There's this other guy who's all right, but I didn't quite like him that as much as I like you, just to hang out with." And he went, "Oh, I definitely want to do it." I went, "Oh, great, then the job's yours."
Right.
It's not a job,
right.
No money, but if you want to do it, we'll hang out and I'll get you drunk every day. And so, yeah, and I think through the making of Colin, he became like someone I was just so close to. Like,
I have a question for you about Colin, actually.
Okay, hit me.
I think I've already asked you. And I can't remember. And this is where I get to be really partridgey. But
well, we'll see.
I remember when I
get as partridge as I can in my answer.
When I first watched Colin, I saw something.
Uh-oh.
And I sort of this
lousy camera work.
I thought, this is dog shit. And one day, if I do a Dawn of the Dead, no, I didn't think that. No, like this.
Finally got you here, you son of a bitch.
I think I'm pretty certain I've already asked you this, but I think I did it by text, and I want to ask you in person because I watched. I got Colin in Poundland in Cambridge one day when I was out with my now ex-girlfriend, and I was kind of, because me and her were well into our kind of zombie movies. I was kind of like, oh, I heard about this. This is the super cheapo zombie movie that everybody saw. And
it was all over the country.
Yeah, it was everywhere. It's everywhere. And there's one scene in Colin where you see a video camera. Am I correct? You see a video camera. Now, is that camera a Panasonic DS12 EG?
It's the one that's in the Museum of Moving Image right now. How's that for a fucking humble brag?
That's good.
Wasn't humble.
That's good.
Fuck. But it doesn't work anymore. It started damaging tapes. And so it ruined a couple of shots from days. And I was like, oh, whoa. And I had to buy another one, and it worked. So I think it was a DSV 9 something, because I remember the DS part.
Yeah, it's the DS. That was the line of that was their line of their mini DV cameras, because the DS12
9 I think it was a 9. I think there was a 9 in there, and I remember that thinking, unless it was a 12, and it's the DS that I'm associating with Deep Space Nine.
I just want to be totally clear. The DS12 EG did not have the articulated screen. The DS12 EG only had a black and white monitor via the iCup. The more expensive models did have the articulated color screen.
It was that one, because in the shot,
with or without the articulated screen.
Yeah, is the articulated screen, because what we zoomed
fucking sellout, Mark Price.
Because what we did is we got the new camera and tracked in on that one. Because the idea is, because there's a mad sort of, it's like we called it the house party.
Yeah, the house party scene where everything goes to shit, right? Like
and the idea was that these idiots were trying to make their own zombie doc, and so they were like, we'll just film this shit, and then we'll sell the footage afterwards. So the idea is that you see a body on the floor, and we push in on the camera as Colin sort of walks in, and it was through the camera we pushed in, which was, I think, me ripping off that shot from War of the Worlds with the guy whose camera works.
Yeah.
Lands on the floor, and I was just like, because another Spielberg film that no one likes that I love is War of the Worlds.
I feel like it's missing its third act. That's the problem with that film. I just think it just ends too early. I really liked everything up until it ended, and it's like, well, there was more. I feel like there was more.
it's always a problem with that story. I think it's the whole twist thing of it being a virus and like, which on the page in H.G. Wells book is incredible.
Sorry, the Scott Reiniger zombie thing. Duncan Casey is in the chat, by the way. So
is he?
Yeah, Duncan Casey just turned up. He says something zombies because we're out of his wheelhouse. God love him. And I don't want to derail you, having put you on a topic about the Panasonic DS12 EG, but yeah, Duncan's here.
This is it. Off-screen death.
And the dialogue, we're down to the line, folks. We're down to the line. It's not the Republicans versus the Democrats anymore. Like that. And the guy with the eye patch is the scientist from The Crazies, the original version of The Crazies. It's another returning Romero person. But yeah, I love this. I love because because right now he's going, we must have calm. We must have calm. Everything in the studio escalates. Everything in the studio, everything on the television. And this film is really good for its representation of media and for the kind of meta text within that. And it builds and builds and builds. And everything on the television builds to this. And then he shoots Roger. And then it's like, we must have calm. We must have calm. Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
And even the burial is fake because they're burying him in like fake grass in the middle of the mall. It's just gross. Anyway,
it's look, this is up there with Picard on the top of the fucking mountain rock shit, right? It makes no sense. It's like you're gonna smell that,
Well, it's that Picard, what is it? Kirk started out on the bridge and he ended up under the bridge. Is the
what they do is they want to lay him out in that ice rink. It'll be fine.
It'd be fine. Just chill him.
That was so I'm in Streatham, right? And there's an ice rink around the corner. And apparently, one of the things they did is they designated the ice rink in our leisure centre for storage of bodies should things get that bad.
Fucking
and
hell.
We were like, oh Jesus! I was like, that might affect. Also restraint.
That was that Charlie Brooker did a bit about Threads, and he was talking about sooner or later you might end up tip-exing your mum's national insurance number on the bin bag you've wrapped her in.
Mate, right, I'm gonna get another drink.
You do it. I've had my week, mate. Have a piss and all. Fucking hell, I thought I was gonna die.
Fuck, I haven't got any mixers. So I'm just gonna get some ice. I'm gonna put it in this glass, and then everything else.
I'm gonna talk about the act break. So this is something I'll pick this up with Mark when we get back. Hi Duncan, if you're still there, man. Thank you. Oh, Duncan's here. Duncan's still in the chat. Cheers, man, for tuning into this nonsense. Mark and I are quite drunk, but it hasn't got terribly controversial, so that's fine. This is a really important act break in the film, and really important character thing that happens when Roger dies. What's happened is these people have lucked into this thing where they're in the mall and they have everything they could want, and we watch them immediately stagnate, and the television broadcasts end, and they're sitting around in posh clothes. Like Fran doesn't want to marry Stephen. There goes Mark's arm. Fran doesn't want to marry Stephen because it wouldn't be real. Peter just has to get on with it. He's playing tennis and stuff, and we see a rotted zombie. Like, time has passed, but nothing means anything. They have unlimited resources, but there's nothing they can do. There's nowhere they can go, and I think it's something that I do like the Zack Snyder remake of this, and I do not like Zack Snyder's films, but the Zack Snyder remake of this I think is probably his best film, and I think it's far from perfect, but it's something I do like that movie, but it doesn't cover this section. It like that film kind of shows that having everything you want is great, and you can put all the syrup you want in your coffee, whereas this is a great example that what's playing out on screen at the moment. Is that like their kind of love life has sort of died a little bit, and Pete, it's got nothing to do. They sit around listening to records, they start arguing. I think when we get into the final scene of the movie where the zombies are just throwing money around and jewelry and nothing means anything, that's what they're trying to say. And Duncan Casey says, I'm listening while watching Point Break with the wife. So there you go. Is it the new Point Break or the old Point Break? Because Point Break did have a remake, didn't it? Mark, here's what I was just covering.
Okay.
When Roger dies, you get this act break where they are just completely immersed in the mall. They've got this really comfortable situation, but they become kind of emotionally vacant. They get bored.
Yeah.
They just stagnate.
It's the most disturbing part of the film.
It really is, though, because because that shot of all the guns, and they've turned the kind of the National Defense room into like a lovely living room and stuff.
Yeah,
I love when
passage of time.
They argue about the TV. It's like Fran's like, there hasn't been a broadcast in days, and like he's sat there and they're arguing and stuff. Also, Peter playing tennis against the wall. I referenced this a minute ago. The tennis ball goes off, and there's a rotted corpse because we see how long it's been and stuff. But they have nothing. They have everything, but they have nothing.
It's so sad as well because you really feel that Peter is like he's lost everything. He's lost he's lost his best buddy, and now he's just waiting the days away.
They're kind of waiting to die, right? Like they sort of
Like I don't want to sound too heavy or anything. I mean, I really genuinely think I've had like an all right time during the whole pandemic, like compared to certainly to others, But there was a period for the last couple of weeks where I've just been like, wow, I am just waiting for time to go to bed.
Right.
It's like I've got my TV shows I'm enjoying watching, but I've seen them before. So I'm just going to use them to eat up time through the day because I'm waiting for work to come in. There's nothing there quite there yet. So I'm waiting for work to come in. I'm just watching TV shows I've seen before because that's the comfort zone I'm looking for. And I am just waiting to go to bed. And I've done that for a couple of weeks. And I'm all right with it. It's not bothering me. But I'm like, this is fucked up. And the only comfort I'm getting from it is that, well, this is how it has to be. If I was doing this when I could go out and I could try and find other things to do, that's where I think it would be worse.
There's a lot to be said for the fact that everyone, because again, this is, if you're watching this movie right now and seeing what these people are going through, the difference here is that they are sort of the only ones going through this. Like right now, everybody. The only comfort I have is that everyone's doing the same thing. You can't really feel like a loser when everyone's in the same boat. It's like I've been out. Well, no one's been out. Like no one's been to, and and it doesn't matter what you're into. If you're the kind of person that goes to every party and is a nutter, you can't do that. But if you're the kind of person that quietly goes to a gallery, you can't do that either. Look at them now.
They're doing the thing where they're dressing up just to sit on the sofa and watch TV.
He's wearing a waistcoat just to sit.
I've been doing that this weekend. I've been doing it for self-esteem reasons. I'm just like, oh shit. So my mirror is a little bit. Sorry, my living space is a little bit like the Elephant Man's room. We try to reduce our reflective surfaces, right? Because me and my flatmate were like, we don't need to see that. So we're kind of like, but we both of us have just been like, oh, let's just like fucking scrub up so we can sit in the living room watch TV. And I'm just like, so that when you wander past the mirror, instead of going, oh Christ, you're like, oh fuck, that wasn't as horrible as it was 2 weeks ago.
Mark, I'll go into bat for that. So here's what happened to us recently. On my birthday, I have a kilt because I'm Scottish family and shit. I wore my kilt and my new Adidas. My mum bought me a nice Adidas tracksuit top for my birthday, so on my birthday I wore my Adidas top and my kilt because there's nothing better to do. And then in October, just before that, Ivan dressed up as Gomez Adams, and I dressed up as a man with a pencil in his head, which I did a video about. We just hang out and watch horror movies all night.
Yep, you told me. I remember being deeply concerned that it was your birthday. I was like, "What are you up to? Do you want to sync a film with me?" And you were like, "I got plans."
Oh, you did, bless you. I was just like, "Yeah, fam. I'm watching. Fucking. What did we even watch? I can't remember." I got come my I think I got to watch my free pass, which was probably Evil Dead 2 or this. I can't remember. And we also did a one night where Ivan was kind of like, we have to do a tropical night, and he ordered tiki glasses from the internet, and we dressed up like we were in the film The Business, the Nick Love film The Business, and we watched I sent you that as well.
You told me, it was great.
We watched The Business and then both Weekend at Bernie's films because they're both on YouTube. So you just got to make your own entertainment, man. You got to take care of yourself because fucking Jesus.
That reminds me, we had an interview with someone who was with the fucking Mirror or some scum rag at one point to do with Colin, and they said, "Who's your favorite zombie?" And I went, "Jesus Christ." And Alistair went, "Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's."
Nice. Yeah.
Then Alistair panicked. He was like, "Oh Christ!" And I said, "I think you're all right, man. I think my
yours is the one that's going to pull down the heat, not Bernie. You're fine.
It's like, people will think I love shit films."
All right, I just got to do a quick super chat. Sean Northridge just dropped €5 in the chat. He says,
"Oh, thank you, man."
Sean says, "This is my first time watching the film. It's been an interesting, intoxicating learning experience. Hope you're all doing well." We're doing very well, Sean. Thank you. And I'm sorry this is the way you had to watch it first.
Yeah, buddy, we shouldn't be ruining it, people. Like, look, I highly recommend watching it without us nattering away. There's so much to love. It's a genuine joy of a film. It really is.
So anyway, Weekend at Bernie's 2. So basically,
the good one.
Both Weekend at Bernie's are on YouTube, and we watched the bit because Ivan was like, "We'll dress up and watch The Business." I was like, "That's pretty funny. We're going to do that." And and also something Ivan and I have done in the pandemic. So at Halloween and stuff, because I have loads of film lighting stuff in here. I do lighting in the living room where we're going to start, because that's like we're going to be up till 5 a.m. drinking shots. Like that's that. So Wicked at Bernie's, we had like the tropical lighting, and then the Halloween one we had kind of spooky lighting, and we really go in on it. And we did it at Christmas. Oh, New Year we dressed that we were from the future.
Let's get a load of this Val Verde fucking fans. He has a smoke machine now. He's gonna put some fucking smoke.
It's true.
Some God rays.
It's true.
Coming through shit.
I got fucking.
It's gonna be great,
dude. I've not. Hold on, one sec.
I'm throwing him under the bus, right? Because he hasn't used them yet. And I was like, "Oh, show me some stuff. Show me some stuff." And he hasn't shown me anything. He just showed me a picture of the fucking Argos smoke machine he bought. Okay, so
see, Mark and Duncan.
Was that from Argos? I said, "You showed me a picture of the Argos smoke machine."
I mean, it might as well be. Look at it. It looks like a fucking Black and Decker. Like, done it.
There, mate. You should get the Argos ones, because every time we got an expensive one, they break and we have to go and buy a quick one from fucking Argos.
This was from the internet, and it was not a lot of money. It was like, I'm not swimming it. It's like 35 quid. This is for the short, right? But I was saying to Mark, I was like, Mark, I got a smoke machine. Because
fucking do it for a stream, dude. It'd be amazing. We should have done it for this.
We missed it up the stream. Well, I'm on the webcam tonight, mate, because the fucking the bloody we had issues on Thursday.
Gorgeous light behind you there. I'm pointing at what and my screen is the right way. I hope it's the right video.
It's just a webcam, because I've got an LED strip here there for the stream.
That would cut through some fucking smoke.
Mate, you get that kind of. I want that godlight. I will mist up a stream one day. But see, yeah, I've bought a smoke machine, and because usually on Thursdays I use my Blackmagic camera, which I bought at the start of the pandemic. And I've got a fucking movie camera I'm using as a webcam. So like my Dolph Lundgren video, I put it on a slider and fucking did all that shit.
Yeah, you said this to me. Hey, get on to this, everyone. Richard sometimes sends me stuff before he puts it online, and I watch it.
Well, again, yeah, because I'm sending it to a grown-up, as far as I'm concerned. I
feel I should pay money, because so many of your lovely people, your lovely fans. Sorry, people. Christ, I'm picking the right words here. What's the best way to describe? I keep saying audience, your lovely audience. That's what I say to you in private, but I suddenly realised what's the right terminology. Is it like am I using the wrong word by saying
audience is good? I tell you what, I don't like when people say fans. That feels icky.
Yeah, I'm very uncomfortable with that as well.
Right. That's not right. To me, it's people who, because like we don't exist without.
It's such a community, right? It feels
precisely.
Like
yeah, we don't exist without the people that subscribe. So going, oh, there are fans, they follow us. Like, fuck off. Like, I don't mind followers, because that's technically correct, because you click on the follow button. But I just kind of think, sorry, this is weird, isn't it? I'm talking about, but internally, Duncan and I say usually like community or subscribers is a thing. Annalise says the cult of Val Verde.
In text messages, Duncan always says fans, schlubs, suckers.
No, Duncan's a monster. Yeah, he's a monster. Yeah, he's a monster.
I'm only joking.
He's pulling your legs. I'm loving that people in the chat are saying. So I tell you what, actually, if you want to do the proper terminology, and Steve Allen has brought us up, it's what we normally say: Valverdians. We're all Valverdians together.
Nice.
Citizens is one. The cult of Valverde, says Annalise. George Jones says Valverde virgins, which I'm not sure I'm all right with. Wing Kong says
a friend of mine said I should write a script set in Val Verde, and I went, yes, it's a glorious land of guys dressed in sort of slack greens and hostages.
I've got yes, I saw that actually. That's fucking great. I got Duncan Casey in the chat just says fuckers.
What's he doing watching?
Get out of here. Ben Wallace says peasants. Lungful Drummer says cunts. straight to the top shelf. Straight to the top shelf.
That person really nearly got a fucking
oh, the jet of yeah, absolutely. Well, look, we're at the end of the. By the way, sorry to talk about the movie again for a little bit. Boring, whatever.
Why not?
Why not? Why don't we do that? Let's do that. We'll do that. This is, but genuinely, like, someone owned a mall. They let them shoot there. And it's literally like, okay, we're going to spend a couple of nights riding motorbikes around your shopping centre. Like, there's nothing fake about this. They're riding fucking motorcycles. Because I remember on the extras, they
as well, pagans or something, isn't it?
Yeah, they're
something like that.
They're some kind of crazy shit. Like, I remember on the extras they talk about shooting this, and they basically describe it as we sort of turned them loose and we covered it like a war. We were just there because Savini was a war photographer, but he wasn't doing photography on this movie.
Yeah,
it's like a war. We just had groups of people out with cameras, and we had just shit happening. We were just letting them. We were letting each. There was a bunch of units shooting stuff with a bunch of extras, and they just let them get on with it.
You see the fat guy fall into the fountain now.
Oh god! Oh yeah, I hope we didn't, because that is fucked up. Like, that's
so dangerous looking.
Actually, fucked up. Like.
Oh no, we found a wigwam. What?
Oh, like this is where they take all the jewelry off. This is also as well because these guys are total twats because they take money and stuff. The one guy takes the television. He says, "What are you going to watch on that thing?" And then he smashes it with the hammer. Like,
yeah,
you know.
It's fucking like, oh, the pie fight.
Yeah, exactly. And where does this come from? This comes from literally fucking nowhere. That's why it's amazing. Like
apparently they were just like, "What are we going to do today? Oh, pie fight. Why not?"
This is why the Argento one isn't nearly as fun. Right, and the seltzer bottle as well. He seltzers the fucking zombies.
The guy in the fucking sombrero, man. That's crazy shit.
And that geezer's wearing the SS helmet because he's letting off blanks next to that guy's head. Like, it's really. I mean, that's why we don't have a Brandon Lee. Everyone.
If you notice, well, because the shit comes out of the front, which means that's dangerous. So I don't use those blanks. I'm so nervous of a Brandon Lee incident. So if you notice, or every time you see the flare come out the top, if it's a Glock or something, you see the flare come out the top.
It should because the barrel should be blocked and it comes out the cartridge. Because that's kind of we did that for a short we did at uni. This is mad actually. A short we did at uni on 60mm, and I will never do film again. That was my Hearts of Darkness when I was 20 years old, was shooting on film.
It's
brutal. Colour film as well. Jesus Christ, unless you've got a budget. But anyway, we had a Glock, we had a Magnum, and we had like a sports starter pistol, and we had to go to the police station because I lived in Southampton at the time. And this feels kind of twee now, but we went down to the police station and said, "Hi, we're students. We have these blank firing pistols that we'd legitimately ordered off the internet. And from Tuesday to Friday, we're going to be shooting guns at 89 Acacia Avenue." And they just kind of went, "Cool, we've written it down fine."
Acacia Avenue?
No. That was my
Banana Man.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm so glad you got the reference. No, I can't remember the real street. I don't remember what it was, but I'm so glad when I say Acacia Avenue, someone gets it.
Mate, I'm the one.
You're the one. Mark and I are getting married. Like, we're both straight men that are just going to get married because there's no other option. It's pandemic time. No, but Mum, he gets my Banana Man references.
Look, you want me to be happy, don't you?
Look, what this world needs is a marriage between two middle-aged straight men. That's what the world needs right now.
It's a really fucked up. Sorry, never mind. There's a really fucked up point where I almost had the opportunity to write a Banana Man movie. And I went, okay, I'll do anything. I'm really hungry. I need money and food.
Was that the one that had a website and stuff a few years ago?
I want to say it was about 8 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, no, I remember. Okay, I don't want to get you in trouble.
I had a conversation, never went further than that. That was it. But I really researched it. I think I could have done something that was all right.
I remember a Banana Man movie was announced and they registered a website. There he goes. Oh my God, that looks so painful. That's stone.
He sprained himself in the head and broke his fucking ribs.
But can you imagine, like, regardless of what size you are, it's like a stone ledge and he just rides the whole... Every time I see that, I cringe. Like, it's so painful.
There's no way. Yeah, same. There's no way someone worked that out. And these fucking bike guys, if there's anyone lying on the floor, they nearly fucking run them over. It's fucking.
It's
mental.
Crazy. Look at this. And again, this is like someone letting them in their mall. You know, that's what is. It's really important to remember. That's what's happening here. They're straight up trashing like a fucking mall.
Fucking hell. Like, they probably bought that TV, but still.
Yeah, I would hope so.
That's a real TV because he threw it at the other TV and nothing broke.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Another like non-actor is kind of like, "What are you going to watch that thing?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know, man," because he's just not an actor. Like it's just some fucking guy.
Yeah,
so we're building up to Flyboy. Like Flyboy's death and resurrection is one of the most effective scenes in the film.
Yeah,
like easily, like because actually, you know when all the zombies come in the lift at him, that's a still that shows all the time, right? When all the zombies come into the lift, and he firstly, it's really, and again, this is one of the few moments of like really constructed lighting because it's all kind of kick light. Like all this stuff is kick light, all this the kind of backlighting stuff. When Flyboy gets bitten, as a performer, he looks into where he was bitten and where he was injured, and then carries that forward as a zombie. And he does the thing because he has to go to the kind of plastered up wall and break through and stuff. Yeah. And it's just amazing. Like he's amazing. He's amazing.
It's a racist line from Tom Savini.
Yes, I shan't repeat it. I shan't repeat it. But yeah, and again, because they're scum fucks, right? These bikers. Like,
yeah.
There's moments like that because there are the kind of rack focus with Fran there. It's one of the more considered moments, and there's definitely like a stagehand shining a light in her face, like when she does that.
There's a guy just doing this, going, "What do you think?"
But that seems to because when you hear about like Romero's process, like it seemed to be he would be like, "What about this?" and he'd be like, "Yeah, all right," and keep it in, and that was how that's how it went down,
He's very comfortable like putting together in the edit. It's like. I don't know. It's one of those things where it works, but yeesh.
Well, he was someone that was known for being very hands-on in the edit.
Yeah,
like he was known because, like I said before, like he was known for like this film seemingly has like 4 times the number of edits of most films. And again, this is because most of it is just people in a mall, but like him, he's actually riding the lift there.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, he's on the fucking lift there.
He's actually riding the lift.
I just had a message from Mike Geary, who I think I mentioned like earlier.
Yeah,
he's going to be wondering about that one. He's going to be shutting through all fucking 2.5 hours trying to find what I said about him. Go for it, Mike. Yeah, he said he's watching. So,
hello, Mike. All right, how you doing?
Feel free to shuttle.
Shuttle, Mike. Shuttle. I don't know if you did say anything about Mike.
Yeah, he's going to wear a sombrero in every film we do in the future.
Fantastic. I mean, it just adds that bit of character that you need, doesn't it? The sombrero.
I'm going to make him do like that Speedy Gonzalez voice too, because what could go wrong there?
I think that'd be fine, mate. I think that'd be fine. You should definitely go.
That hasn't dated horribly, is it?
I'm enjoying the.
Look at that shit.
There are some. This fucking guy, because and again, there's all those there's kind of not lens flares. There's all those flares coming off the blanks from that Tommy gun. That dude with the long hair. And do you remember, like, he goes down shooting as they crowd him, and it's like, yeah, you're straight up shooting blanks in like real people's faces. That's fucked up. Like. That's like that could have been 10 Brandon Lees in one take.
Yeah, I mean that's now that he's watching. That's what Mike's for. You get your Mike Geary's in for that. You don't get your random $1 fucking extras from Pittsburgh.
Watch this. That shit. This is what I was talking about earlier because the guy goes on his ass like off the bike. I think.
Come on.
Yeah, look at that. Look, he does a flip off the bike onto the floor.
You know what? They did a cut there.
There's a cut. But then watch him like. I'm pretty certain he just empties the gun and
Tommy gun.
Yeah, he's just laying it off next to their dicks, like that's right fucking there. This guy, the heart monitor guy, the fucking heart monitor guy. I just, you know that dude that got dragged to the floor. The woman in like the kind of burgundy dress got his arm and just kind of went. If you look at it, she goes down going. Just look at his fucking arm. That looked like I was blowing a RoboCop, which I have no problem with.
Mike just goes, I think he's enjoying the attention. Here we go. Mike goes, am I your Brandon Lee? I was like, I fucking wish, mate. You wait, but right your time. It's why he keeps saying no to my films and going off and doing real jobs where they pay him properly because he's a proper actor. Right,
yeah. That's like one day Duncan will just go. Why am I saying cunt on Thursdays with Richard? I have no idea.
Oh, look at it! It's all a melted crane. Oh, laughing emojis.
So this
that's fucking.
This has the Day of the Dead really goes bananas on this, but the fucking the gut eating shit in this. Look there. So I think that's Tasso. I think that's Tasso. I think that's Tasso, the guy who gets his guts pulled up.
That's him. Yeah. I think
because he's the one in Day. He's one of the soldiers, and he gets the eye. Oh no, not Rickles. He's the guy who gets his head pulled off his Tasso Stavrakis in Day, I think.
The fucking bowling ball guy.
Yeah, and the jaw's still going. Mark,
good.
Can we do Day of the Dead?
Yeah.
Can we do Day of the Dead, Mark, please? Can we do Day of the Dead?
We should do Day of the Dead,
please.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
There we go. Look at that shot. It's fucking. Oh no!
Yeah.
Flyboy, no!
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Pickers Peter hears it and stuff.
Yeah.
I do.
They're friends now.
Here's my
so...
my American Mall theory. Something I've encountered in American Mall theory, but American Malls from media is that everything is brown behind the scenes. There's brown walls everywhere, and it mostly comes from this film. But there's like video games and stuff where there's brown walls. Doug Wanacott done a super chat. Richard doesn't have my name on it though. Forgot about my secret identity. Oh, okay. I don't have a quick way to pull up the super chats, Doug. I'm sorry. Yes, that guy.
I never know
that guy. And also, there's Albert Einstein, but there's MOON spells Tom Cullen zombie as well with the blue mop top, with the blonde mop top. MOON, that spells moon.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Doug, thank you for the super chat. Sorry, I can't. There's no quick way to pull that up, but thank you so much. Doug put in a PayPal thing the other night and made Duncan read loads of innuendo carry-on style James Bond titles, which was very, very good. And Duncan did it in the I can't remember what it was specified. It had to be in the voice of a drunk Pierce Brosnan on Viagra, I think was what Doug asked for. It was a very amusing part of the stream.
Pierce Brosnan. That's interesting. I didn't know that Duncan could do Pierce Brosnan.
Oh my god, Duncan's Pierce is legendary. It's so good. I love it. It's really good because no one else does a Pierce. And Duncan's Pierce. I made Duncan on Risky Quizness. I had a thing called the Pierce News Network, and it was news broadcasts from a dimension where everyone's Pierce Brosnan, and he was reading the events of films in Pierce Brosnan's voice. Yeah, you know. The thing, Pierce Brosnan, you don't know what Pierce Brosnan sounds like until you've heard someone take the piss out of it.
I was going to say that your Pierce Brosnan then sounded like the guy wearing the sombrero earlier.
I am not the one. I am not the one.
If you were trying to do that guy, I suggest not using that voice because you're going to come off bad.
I'm going to get cancelled, motherfucker.
Was that like Duncan and his slightly overweight person joke the other week?
Oh God, we don't talk about that. Luckily we're unpopular enough to have evaded cancellation. We won't get cancelled because no one cares enough, which is fine by me.
Oh.
People sort of say to us like, we very rarely get inciting comments, and we got them most when we started. I think because on the basis that we were carrying over a group of people from a previous thing, and it's kind of like they'd be like, "No one cares about you. You're nobodies," and it'd be like, "Oh, that hurts." But now if someone says,
"You're less than nothing. If you were in the toilet, we wouldn't waste the water flushing."
Exactly. But now when they say
that was me. I was only joking.
That was you joking. But now if someone says I go, "Good." That's a good thing, and I'm glad. Like I'd rather have this weird little fiefdom that we have. It's way better. It's way better. Hey, look at Flyboy Zombie. The way he holds that fucking the gun rotating on his finger, and he's holding onto his thigh. Are you drinking Maker's Mark?
I am. Yes, I was going to put it in with some ginger beer and some, which I believe is what's it called?
I've got Jim Beam.
What's this called?
I've got Jim Beam like a cheap cunt. Cheap cunt, I am. You got Maker's Mark. You got the good shit. Man's got the good shit.
I'm trying to get a little bit more sophisticated in my being a drunkenness.
This has been quite a boozy stream. It's been quite a boozy stream.
Sparks fucking ginger beer as well as diet too, so it's like a salad. It's all...
I've had too much sugar tonight. I've been very good with my dieting. Been losing weight, but I just too much sugar tonight.
Checks out. My friend Victoria. She makes her uncle has a bee farm in fucking Bulgaria. So her
a story as old as time itself.
Yeah, it's like real fucking honey without any. I was like, "Do you put sugar in this?" And she was like, "No, it's just scraped from the hive or however that works." And so
from the bees' arseholes. That's what they do, innit? They shit honey.
That's like that. Yes. So find Victoria Valcheva on on Instagram, because she's like, oh, I just send it to anyone who asks, so just direct message her, and she's got a bank account. She's good. She's really lovely. She's cool.
Sweet. That's
very good actor as well. So that's the show. It's like, this was a previous glass which I had for about 2 months. Then you introduced me to whiskey sours. It was gone in like 4 days. I ordered a bigger jar, which is now almost gone as well.
Yeah, you've gone in. Mark, you're not about the sugar syrup. You were doing honey whiskey sours, which I get. I get that. It's I think it was good if you ever have a Godfather sour or a Godfather. So a Godfather is equal parts amaretto and whiskey. Wait, here we go. Let's watch Flyboy. Like Flyboy, a horrible zombie. Also, like I said before, we get the gag, but his head doesn't explode. But we get the kind of squib.
We're desensitized to it at this point, aren't we? And it's a lot. It's private pilot level, isn't it?
It's private pilot level.
That's not as.
I am in a world of shit. Yeah, it's that level. But Fran, also, it's really important to see, because you get Fran's reaction to that, and I think because like that, and also she was the one who wanted to go. Peter's the one who wanted to stay, not her. She was like, "Look, he's dead. Let's just go."
Yeah.
So, fact fans or fun trivia fans,
I love that the nurse zombie makes it this far, by the way.
Well, her and the guy in the cardigan as well. They're like the hero zombies, because they both did all the conventions and stuff. And they used to do the nurse zombie and that guy in the cardigan. They used to do the Monroeville Mall tour as well.
Ah, nice.
I would okay. Look, I'm going to be honest. Pittsburgh looks pretty unappealing to me. I don't think there's a lot there. However, you can go to the Day of the Dead mine, which is like a storage facility. You can go to the Monroeville Mall. And you go to the night graveyard. So me and Mark would have at least 3 days there.
Right.
And you would have every opportunity to prove to us all the awesome shit, that is in Pittsburgh. But
check this out. Mike's mates with someone who was a producer on Day of the Dead. Mike, hit me with some facts so I can impress everyone with your name.
Come to the chat, Mike.
Still watching.
Come to the chat. Come to the chat.
Yeah. Do it.
Marcus told us how he's been blocked by the Harry Krishna zombie, Mike.
Yeah, Harry Krishna zombie blocked me, Mike. It's fucked up.
I love that. I love that tangible relationship. We've had a handful. We've had a handful of Duncan. So we did Live Die Repeat. The Tom Cruise. Yeah. So Duncan was on Edge of Tomorrow. Duncan was on for that. Duncan, obviously Skyfall as well. There's a few things where Duncan was like tangentially, involved, and you're like, I was blocked by the Harry Krishna zombie.
He might have been kicked off.
He might be kicked off. He might have been kicked off. To be fair, he might have been kicked off.
Like his last message was how much he loved fucking Doom Drifter. He's like, he's my mate, and I don't,
I don't know. I don't know how many times we've referenced MySpace. I think it's none.
You think it's none?
I think it's none.
I think
it's none times. I think we've referenced MySpace none times. But tonight it changed. Perhaps this is the turning point for Val Verde Broadcasting. It's like, were you there for? Were you there for MySpace night when everyone remembered being friends with Tom? MySpace was wicked, by the way. That is a way to show your age. Yes. They're kind of like, I've been interrupted by a SWAT team look. That he's sort of looking over his shoulder.
Like, I like to think that his Facebook profile or his Twitter profile is the same pose, just in a lovely house.
Dude,
do
you follow him on Twitter? His Twitter's brilliant.
Oh, I don't follow him on Twitter.
No, his Twitter is his old MySpace photo. And it's people sort of going like, ha ha, you're a dickhead, no one uses your thing anymore. And he goes, ha ha, I sold it for $50 million 20 years ago. Like, he's quite shady.
40 million left.
Yes.
He's in the same flat.
He's like a photographer, and it's like, I'd probably be a fucking photographer. I'd be knitting blankets. I don't want to do $50 million. Jesus Christ.
God, Rich, what I talked about when you went to the toilet earlier was where in the background it says Val Verde Broadcasting. I wondered if I could be there for the day that all these beautiful broads show up for the cast.
Yeah, we're still waiting, mate. We're still waiting. See, the issue there is that one of us is married and the other one's me. So that's never going to happen. It's never going to happen.
I'll bring all my professionalism. I'll have my glasses on the end of my nose looking over them and everything going, that was really good. If you try that again, except this time, good. we'd be in business. Honey. Whatever.
Yeah. Mark Price, Britain's biggest honey importer.
Mike Crystal, that's his name. Look, he's my mate.
There you go, your mate.
My friend
lead zombie.
My friend.
Also, when they go to the helicopter, when Peter decides not to shoot himself, they do the library music sounds very much like the A-Team. It's like da 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 da.
That's positive, isn't it?
It sounds like they were put in a military prison for a crime they did not commit. Right, okay. Michael Small gave a £5 super chat. He says, Annalise and I are loving this drunken madness while we pack to move to Reading on Monday. The perfect clothes folding entertainment. Oh, guys, you're moving to Reading. Fair dues. Well, we're glad to have entertained you.
I just saw the first makeup assistant was Nancy Allen. Do you think that's the same one from RoboCop or just?
We must assume she's the only Nancy Allen. She must be.
We always thought that Jim Cameron was just like a coincidence at the end of Escape from New York, and then it turned out
that's him. Yeah, that's him. Putting fucking luminous tape on a cardboard box version of New York because it's cheaper than. What I always loved. So what Mark is referencing in Escape from New York, when Snake Plissken flies into New York, there's the wireframe model of New York, which is in fact a practical model of New York with luminous tape on the edges to look like a wireframe, which was done by Jim Cameron, the James Cameron. And what I love about that is that was cheaper than computers then. Like, it was cheaper to build a fucking model of New York and put tape on it. That was cheaper then.
Yeah, it's great. Mike sent me a fact, by the way. He said Dave Ball was one of the producers on Day of the Dead. He's a top bloke. It's a good fact, Mike. Have you got anything else?
There's the facts, yeah. Keep the facts coming,
I got the 3 dots going. He's either
that's what I mean, because we're getting real links to the Romero universe here. Yeah, that's exciting to me.
Mike's one of my best buddies. He always teases me, and if he's insulting me with those 3 dots, he's very carefully constructing an insult. I will read it exactly as he wrote it, or I'll read it differently so that the joke will be between me and him, that he's not
right. Okay, nice.
I think funny enough, we were doing a film once, and there was and me and Mike have a very sort of like making fun of each other relationship. But the funny thing is, Mike is infinitely more witty than me. So I'll say something and it'll be fucking beautiful. But then he'll take that and then bounce on it and then make me look like a fucking asshole. But it's also really, really funny. So I'm just like, like Harry Henderson fucking laughs like,
If someone like rips on you well, you have to show respect, right? You have to show respect when someone
I don't want to. He just really is that funny.
I don't want to.
Oh, he said he thinks that music was the Super Bowl fanfare from 76 or 77. The Ken Ferry climbing a ladder.
To me, it
John
sounds
Williams Olympics.
Yes.
A bit more.
Here,
take that, you goblin walking out of Colin, motherfuckers.
I've been carrying that for 15 years, you cunts. What year was Colin? Is it 2008?
We started shooting in 2005, and because it's like your first.
But you released in like
2 years to finish it.
Yeah.
Then it took a year to try and get distribution, and then 2009 I think it came out, and then so it's about. It's weird. It's like it's like 12 years old at the moment.
Right.
But we shot in 2005.
I remember hearing about it. I remember hearing about it kind of through the grapevine because people who know me know I'm the zombie bore. And they were like, "Oh, have you seen the cheapo zombie movie?" Which was the I don't mean any disrespect by that, but it was like the fucking cheapo zombie movie. And also it got. So I remember the thing that you and Night of Living Dead have in common is like when I was a kid, people used to always talk about how Night of Living Dead cost like $1,000, and it's like that is utterly untrue. That's not even remotely accurate.
Did it cost that little or that much?
Because Night of Living Dead is more than you think. It costs more than you think, and you can kind of see it. But I think it's like I don't want to pull the numbers because I'll get them wrong. But people used to always say, "It cost $1,000." It did not cost $1,000. It cost a lot more than that. But it still costs.
George Romero says that there's like 10 of them through and $600 each. So
yeah, right. I mean, yeah. But I remember hearing about because so look, obviously the heffalump in the room here is that I know Mark through Oliver Harper, so I'm not going to gloss over that or whatever. But I remember because you got in contact with Ollie, didn't you? I think, or was it through Brad? I can't remember.
No, I think I saw his channel, and I just ended up watching a load of stuff. I think it was before you guys were on it, actually. Right. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So I think I was like, oh, this is really good. And then eventually he was like, holy shit, you're the guy that made that film Carley. And I was like, oh, because I don't offer that up. I don't.
Yeah, well, that would be weird, wouldn't it? Like,
yeah, I genuinely like. What I liked about the channel was that it looked at films that were considered not great, but said there's merit to this, though. You got to look at this, and I thought that was a thing he did well. That was really nice. And then of course you guys came along, and then you sort of you threw into that.
I mean, I was in there quite early, but no one watched what I was in. I think people often say kind of like, well, you came along later, and it's like, well, I'm not as late as you think. It's just no one cared about the videos I did.
Well, look, what happens is if I see a man with hair, I'm like, fuck this, and I turn it off. But then I started watching you. Like, what do you know? Like, I don't know what happened.
There you go. Well, I remember him going kind of like, oh, fucking Mark Price watched the thing, and I was like, that's the fucking Colin guy. So that's how. And then I remember the first time I met you at Duncan's birthday, and we both got really fucked.
Oh, no, that wasn't when we met before that. I remember I was listening to a commentary you were doing, and then my name came up, and then you said, oh, ask Mark, and I went, ah! With wet hands, turn it off, because I just started panicking, because I don't like curing, like, ask Mark, why is he so shit?
No, I guarantee you that would have been about the Panasonic NSTV 12EG. Yeah,
it's absolutely lovely. It was about the camera, and I couldn't get my wet hands on my phone quick enough.
Right.
Like, oh, he wasn't calling me a cunt. That's fine.
Yeah,
because I don't watch or read or listen to any shit about me. I ask my friends to tell me, because I'm like, tell me more about me that you like.
That sounds but dude, that sounds exhausting.
I ain't got no.
That sounds exhausting. Like, listening to shit about yourself sounds exhausting. I'm not sure I'd want to do that. That sounds nasty.
Look, I just don't like it. So I don't have the ego for it. I don't need to listen to it. I'm very comfortable with how bad I am, and so I think I think what happened was, I remember I was doing a job at the BFI, and then Ollie happened to be in town with you and Duncan, and so we all fucking got together for a pint after I done some work, and I was like, it was on the South Bank.
Yeah, no, because the first time we met you was the South Bank at Duncan's birthday.
You are correct. No, I suddenly realised
it's the same thing.
No, it wasn't. It was Tim and Duncan and Ollie, and I remember like going, "Oh God, I hate Man of Steel," and Duncan was trying to tell me where it was good. And I was like, "I don't need to listen to why you think a film is good, sir." I made my mind up, but I was polite. I was like, "I don't know about him." And now Duncan's one of my close friends. So it's like, there you go.
Who's this cunt?
Who's this guy who likes Man of Steel? Fuck you! I hope you.
I mean, he doesn't anymore. He doesn't anymore. If that helps you feel any better, he came round on that.
Actually, it was really sweet though. He was sort of saying that, and actually, we had a really, really lovely conversation. I was like, no, I said, actually, you're right. I said there are things in this film, and it was before I'd sort of seen the film in isolation. Moments of that film are actually amazing, but as a whole, it's quite tough to take in.
Yeah.
But in isolation, I remember sort of like it was because to put the movie channels on, watching it, bits would crop up, and I'd be like, "Fuck me, that is stunning as a piece of cinema."
In isolation, and the rest of it is just.
As a whole, it's a little bit harder to take, but there's the lovely, like, it ends so fucking beautifully with like, oh, I wish my dad could have seen that. It's like, oh, I think he was aware, and then even though it doesn't, like, I know there's like, you can be like,
yeah, if you want to dial it back, it doesn't quite pass, but
yeah. But the insinuation is beautiful, and then Welcome to the Planet is fantastic, and I'm like, oh, I never noticed that because I was so busy hating everything else. So yeah, but it was a really nice conversation with Duncan about those moments, and that was like, I was like, okay, you might be a keeper.
You're all right.
You're a keeper, sir.
When
no, yeah, it was birthday, and me and you were laughing about
you probably don't want to say because I just met you, and you were hilariously talking about people that recently died, and I'm co-signing that because I fucking laughed. I thought it was we did we had a moment with
rare thing, Rich.
It's
to click with someone so quickly that you can throw out shit like that. And it's hilarious, and you're like, "We're gonna laugh about this," because I didn't mean it. I wasn't.
Oh,
glad
dude, no! I was just like, I remember. So I was with at the time. The first time I met you, I was with. So I was dating a girl who lived in London at the time. She lived up the East End. So the whole idea of like popping down to the South Bank for like an event was fine, because I used to come down to Cambridge and stay the weekend with her. And it was like, and she worked around there as well, so it's kind of like sweet. She worked at Liverpool Street End, so it's kind of, we'll just go down the East End, and we're not together anymore. But it was sort of like I was going down there and making sort of dead composer jokes with you, and she was just like, "What the fuck was that?" And I was kind of like, "Oh, probably don't worry about it."
Composer? Who could it be?
I don't know. Bark. We were talking about Bark. It was Bark.
Definitely not someone whose work had declined towards the end, and therefore I didn't miss.
Schubert.
so I was like, oh well, that's also my face with restraint. I was really good then.
You're very good. You're very good.
Look, we took it very seriously, and we were very sad, just not at the same time.
Well, we had a moment when Vote Saxon 07, he was just in the chat earlier. Stephen came over. Stephen is based in Northern Ireland, and Stephen, like, when I was broken legged and I was on morphine and stuff, I got chatting to Stephen, and that's not why, but I got chatting to Stephen, and I was like, we'd really like you to, it would be really good if you could come and do a collaboration with us on Val Verde Broadcasting, like if you could come over to England and just do a thing with us. And he did, and the thing is, he had to, like, bless him. I met him quite early in the morning. I think I met him at 8 a.m, which meant that he had taken the train to Cambridge from Stansted, but had flown from Dublin. Basically, he got a flight at like 3 a.m. or something, or 4 a.m. And he'd woken up at 1 a.m, which is like, why bother go to sleep? But Stephen had been through this whole dramatic process to come spend a day with us filming 4 episodes. And it's 4 of our best episodes. He did all these really fucking amazing episodes. It was really funny. It was really great. But we have a supermarket across the road from my house that Duncan and I go and get our lunch at. And we got this great picture because we went over to the supermarket to get our lunch, and in the DVD aisle they had Fistful of Lead, which is that's Mark's film with Duncan in it. And we did that.
It's on the cover.
Well, this is the thing. I've got a photo on my camera roll. Do you remember when Alan Partridge replicates the cover stance of his book to get into the country club?
I've seen that.
Yeah. Me and Steve got Duncan to replicate the cover stance. So I think we found an apple-shaped object in the toy aisle, and it's him with Fistful of Lead. Like,
mate, because James did that one fucking pose where his hat's down.
Your photography for that shit was awesome. The photos
was
were
amazing.
Really good.
The work we did was fantastic. But they decided, the hat down effect looks really, really good. So they did that. They photoshopped a hat on to the other two, and I was like, I was like, how do I broach this? This is like our first job with them. This is before they ruined Doom Drifter.
Right.
So I was like, okay. I was like, I don't know how to do this. So I was like, okay, Tom, and this is true. I said, Tom Nolan is Chris Nolan's cousin. So maybe put his face on the cover so that, his did I say brother? Cousin.
No, you said cousin.
Okay, so Chris Nolan or Jonathan Nolan, because they're brothers, they may retweet it. So that was that one solved. I was like, okay, Duncan. So Duncan is in Edge of Tomorrow, Skyfall, and he's also going to be in, and I made up some fucking film. I was like, he's in that. He's got quite a big part in that. I said, you might want to show his face too. And then, oh shit, okay, cool. So they took the Photoshop off and left it. Mate, it was, when I saw it, I didn't know what to do. I needed a heart attack. I was like, I can't tell them they're bad because they obviously think that this is something they can show me without me yelling.
Right, okay.
Not that my yelling has any impact at all. Oh, mate, distributors.
Well, I'm going to swing a left turn at you. Well, not particularly, actually, but we just had a request.
Turn or a hook?
Yes, it's a Rocky 4, mate. I will break him. Steve Allen has said, and we talked about this briefly earlier, but we'll go in here. Hey, Richard, says Steve Allen. Can you ask Mark what he thinks of Lower Decks? I'm curious to hear what his favourite episode is.
Oh, the last one is amazing.
I
do really like Lower Decks.
I did like the Lower Decks, the movie one, and that was one you were kind of like, watch out for that. But they because they do the kind of film grain, and they reference like they do because the whole series reference the movie score, but they do the lighting and the music and stuff, and
the Enterprise sort of Cerritos moment. So this is the thing. It's like I think like I get it with Lower Decks. I understand the initial sort of like frustration and not like because the way I watched that show, it was like I didn't hate that. Didn't care. But it went on the next one. I was like, it's kind of the same. And me and my flatmate were watching it independently, and I was like, that was actually pretty funny. That bit was pretty funny. And as it went on, we went, I'm kind of looking forward to next week's. Me too. Okay, and we watched it. I was like, yeah, okay. And I'm also the same, kind of looking forward to next week's. And I think by the time the last three, I was just like, that was excellent. That was amazing. I can't wait till next week. And then the last episode just blew my fucking socks off within the first like 10 minutes. I think the cold opening was fucking brilliant. And then the action stuff and the tone shift, I went, oh, that was really unpleasant. I didn't enjoy that at all. That because it did the one thing that there's a bit in Wrath of Khan, right? Do you know when it's like they're in the nebula at the end and they start shooting at the Enterprise and some dude just wandering around thinking I'm in he just leaps into some fire in his life.
Yes, absolutely.
So much.
Absolutely.
And I felt that entire like section in Lower Decks where that essentially happened, I went, but we saw these characters in another episode. They were really funny, and that was horrible. And so that shocked me, along with a lovely, softer character reveal. There's lots of stuff in it. And I just went, and so I went back and I watched them all recently, and it was at about the same time you were watching them, but I was a little bit behind you, so I was trying to watch them like one every other night or something. And the beauty of it is, all those episodes that you don't really rate, it's just because you don't know the characters. And what the show does that's really nice is that it doesn't introduce you to characters. They're already there. They already have relationships. So when you go back to that first episode that you thought was all right, it's fucking excellent now because you know everyone. And I found that really is for all of them. And I'm just like, holy shit, this is lovely. And so I don't know, I really liked it as a show. I like Star Trek generally.
It's something you and I talk about. We talk about Star Trek quite a lot, don't we? I think.
Like Discovery is definitely not one I like.
No, or me,
but
or Picard.
It's at a point where, but I've accepted whatever the fuck Discovery's doing, and what I do is I just get 4 beers and I drink and I watch every episode and I have a fucking blast.
Right.
But it's not necessarily. Because I think some of the performances in that show are fantastic, but it's
and
just
the production is beautiful.
Oh, it's such an excellent show.
That's what I find frustrating a lot about Discovery is the production wise, it looks amazing. It looks incredible, but I just find the writing to be so dreadful.
Yeah, I think Picard is although I wasn't like satisfied at all with it, it was a bit higher up because I was like, there were things in it. I was like, I liked seeing Riker. I liked seeing Brent Spiner with like a ton of makeup on his face to try and make it look like he's not 60.
Pretending he's not 60. Yeah.
I was like, do they think they're getting away with this?
But like Jonathan Frakes is like this. I remember when the trailers come out. Just to be completely clear, I fucking detested Picard, and Ivan and I did an episode about it. I really fucking hated it, and I particularly hated how the first episodes was the same episode over and over again and stuff. But even in the trailer, like when Frakes is like, it's Frakes cutting the dinner, he's like, "What? Why are you yelling?" and all that. Like it was so charismatic, and like when he turned up, it's just like so nice to see he's just this kind of charisma flinging machine. Like I still hate it. I still hate it, just to be completely clear.
It's just that they know their characters really well. I think when he's just like, he gives him a hug and then he's like, red alert, shields up. I was like, holy shit, that was the thing. I love it. There's things like that. It's like, it's nice to see the ownership of the characters. And what I really loved, oh God, you know what really hurts with Picard is that whole thing about their son who doesn't make it.
Yeah.
It was so good, but just wrong. It was written so badly.
Well, because it's only there to speak about that solely exists to say, well, we can't have robot medicine.
Do you know what the series should have been? The series should have been Riker and his fucking kid is gonna die, and then the fucking team get back together and they go and they don't give a shit. They bust B4's fucking head out of a drawer with Picard just walks up, and then they fucking take out whatever the fuck they need. They find Data's ghost in there, whatever that was about, and then they go, it's great, it's all fun.
Yeah.
And that would be fucking amazing. Like you would have got Geordie, we got fucking Old Man Worf in there. It would have been like All Good Things, except like prescient and beautiful, because we would have fucking got to see them again.
What they need is and now it's been spunked up the wall, but what they need is...
I don't want to ruin it for people that haven't seen it.
Don't worry, Mark, it ruins itself. What they need is a comeback. It's weird because TOS only had 3 series, and then we had the motion picture, which people were sure about, and then we had this great run of movies. And TNG had 7 series, so it was a successful TV thing, and then went straight to film. And the films there are kind of and what I kind of feel it needed to...
I love the films, if I'm honest.
I like the first... I like...
Generations is one of my favorites.
I can't deal with Generations. I like First Contact and I like Insurrection. I can't deal with Generations. Generations is... Do
you know what?
I find Generations kind of boring, man. I find it sort of dull. Like, I can't...
I think again, like when Picard goes into the Nexus thing. But I tell you what's really interesting is I watched all the series with a friend of mine recently, and we watched them all, and then we got to the films. I was like, okay, let's watch the films. And by the time we got to Nemesis, it's like, oh, unfortunately, the films do this. I like this one, then it does that, then it's just that. But when it came to Nemesis, I remember sort of preempting it and saying, a major character dies here, but it's really, really badly handled, so you're probably not going to believe it, but it happens.
Right,
right. And I was like, having watched all of them, and then got to that point, and just knowing exactly where it's going to go, that whole thing where, like, there's a fucking stunning scene at the end. We might have talked about this in the Star Trek 5 video. There's a scene where everyone just goes quiet. Like, they're like two absent friends, everyone goes quiet. And I think Marina Sirtis was genuinely like upset, so she just started crying. And Jonathan Frakes does this amazing thing where he just goes, when I first met this dead character.
Yes.
And it felt like the most amazing, like, in my brain I went, the director didn't know what the fuck was going on. I'm not confident that the writer did.
That's not Stuart Baird. That's not Stuart Baird, is it? I feel like that's Frakes.
Yeah, I think it's Jonathan Frakes going, oh, and it's his ascension to captain. It's so good where he's like, I got to look after everyone as hard as it is for me. And then he just makes, it's just lovely. And I'm just like, oh man, I never thought Pop Goes the Weasel would be in my head whilst I'm like really moved. It's stunning.
I can't deal with Nemesis, man. Sorry, I shouldn't use the phrase I can't deal, because it sounds like I don't have the proper vocabulary to describe what I'm experiencing.
As bad as it is, it's like, I think going through them like that, it's kind of nice. It's just that you want them to have a really big send-off. And you know what? All Good Things did that. It was a wonderful finale. Like, so, yeah.
Very briefly, Old Magix is moderating the chat. That's my very good friend Sam Veal. And Sam and I talked about Star Trek things as well. So just saying hi to Sam, who's turned up in the chat.
I'm fond of all of them, man. It's like I'm like, even like I said, even as much as Picard sort of bothered me, like one of my best mates is like a fucking wicked alien in one of them. So I'm just like, oh shit,
that's right.
Dude.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy watching that. So yeah, I think I've got a nice barometer where I can go, right, this is what they're doing now, then let's look at it like that. So it's almost like, do you like how everyone hated Alien Covenant?
Right.
And I was like, well, Prometheus established what the next shit was going to be. So when I watched Alien Covenant, I was like, well, this makes sense based on what the last one was. I didn't care for that, but if this is what they're going to do, well, I wasn't bored. So
okay, guys, so Mark won't be coming back on the show ever. Well, I remember because Brad Brad was pro Alien Covenant as well.
Is he?
Well, no, he was at the time. I remember. So we all went to see it. So myself, Brad, and Ollie all saw it independently, and then we met up in the pub after that. And I don't think we reviewed it together, but Brad really liked it. And I think, much like yourself, because I don't disagree with what you said. Brad is like, well, I think you will agree with me about Brad. Brad is like one of the most
asshole. No one likes him, and everyone wants to kill him, but he can't find the opportunity to do so.
Okay. On that note, God love the man. He's sickeningly positive. Like Brad will always find the best in everything. Like Brad.
Yeah, on your fucking channel, mate. You get in the fucking text conversation with him.
well.
Actually, I'm worse than him. Whenever we met,
you're so much worse than him.
I'm riddled with hate.
I've had
the Emperor, the Jedi's all like, "No, let the hate flow through you." It doesn't.
No, that's the thing with Brad. When Brad hates something, Brad fucking hates something. But it doesn't happen that often. Like my experience of Brad is like insanely positive about most things, and there's a bunch of stuff that I hate that hit Brad. Because I quite unfairly picked up a reputation as somebody who just hates everything, and that's not true, right? I don't like. I'm not saying I'm not a cunt. Let's not be mad. But I picked up a reputation like, Rich's whole bag is that Richard hates stuff, and that's not true at all. That's absolutely not true. Like I get that. When I first appeared on the internet in my own minor way, which is even more minor now, but when I first appeared on the internet in my own minor way, I was riding the wave of that. People like it when someone's angry about stuff, and I used to do sort of angry reactions to stuff. Right, but the thing is, it's not true. Like, I mean, most stuff I choose to talk about things I like for the most part. I'd much rather talk about things that I enjoy.
Hey,
and I think Val Verde has been,
One of the best things was when I watched Threads completely independently, and I was like,
"Oh yes, that was great. That was great."
And I started like googling like other videos on it, and then like yours was one of the top 3 that showed up, and I just typed in Threads and then enter on. I was like, I just watched this, and you went, we did a video on it, and I was like, I think I faked like.
I didn't. I straight up did not know that.
But that's great. Had it lined up
I straight up did not know that. That's God. Yeah,
and I was shit because it was the first time I'd seen it, and I remember it was such an amazing experience watching it that I think I watched it. I was like, this is fucking. I'd always meant to get round to it. I was just bored. I thought, oh yeah, that fucking thing. And I when it finished, I don't know why, I can't explain this, but the thing that really, really, really fucking affected me was, like towards the end, all the kids that had grown up without any education, so their language was just like,
yeah,
give us,
yeah, give us. It's horrible. It's horrible.
And that bothered me so much. I think when it finished, I think I cried for about.
Dude, because I remember, because that was in the last year when you were texting me saying you hadn't seen Threads. I was kind of like, fucking Threads, man. Like, I've got my. I explained this to Mark at the time because Threads is horribly brilliant, directed by Mick Jackson. It's a classic kind of British BBC nuclear war movie.
He directed Volcano. Love it. Fucking amazing.
Yeah. He directed The Bodyguard as well, right? Mick Jackson.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The Bodyguard.
Yeah. I
went to Volcano. Sorry. I went to the better film.
No, I kind of think you did though. I'm not. No arguments from me. I'm not fucking. My relationship with Threads is this. Threads is this like there's sort of notoriously disturbing. Look, it's about a nuclear attack on Sheffield and also, of course, the wider world. It's about World War III. It was a kind of nuclear panic film, which reputedly there's an American kind of take called The Day After, which is very similar, but it's not the same as Jason Robards and Steve Guttenberg. But it seems that Ronald Reagan saw Threads.
That's right. There's a misconception that he saw Day After.
Yeah, and he saw Threads.
But it was Threads, I think. Yeah, because Nicholas Meyer, who directed Wrath of Khan and directed that, he said he's denied any acknowledgement that Ronald Reagan saw that. But I think because Threads wasn't as popular in the US and came out after The Day After, I think.
After was first. Threads was first. Oh wait.
Threads.
I think they were parallel things. And
I think Threads came out after, because I remember the director really being negative about a couple of things in Nick Meyer's film that were referencing other nuclear war films. And he went, "This isn't the place to do that. What you do is you tell." But I mean, the day after, it's a weird one actually, because I saw the day after and I was like, huh. And I didn't.
Well, because the day after being, I'm not trying to denigrate American storytelling, but particularly the storytelling of the 1980s. Like, the day after ends on a sort of hopeful-ish note, and Threads does
my
not.
House.
Threads does not. Threads has the daughter of the main character being raped in a barn and then giving birth to a stillborn mutant, and then it just cuts to credits. And Threads has loads of documentary stuff in it as well. Threads cuts to because what Threads does, Threads is a kind of drama, but it's based on fact. So it kind of goes like, I think I sent you that voice message, didn't I? And I was sort of like, in the event of an attack on London, 600,000 people will die in the first 2 minutes, and it's like these really, really stark statements of scientifically observed kind of prediction.
And now that is extremely positive numbers.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. Like the whole concept, because like when Alan Moore wrote V for Vendetta, like the comic of V for Vendetta, it's a scenario where Britain survived the nuclear war and other places didn't.
Yeah.
And even Alan Moore was like, well, no. Like, it's just like no.
Like just mentioned, said there's melting milk bottles haunted by dreams throughout the 80s, and then as a sort of thing to go with it, he sent me a picture of E.T., which he knows also terrifies me, because I am actually genuinely terrified of E.T. So, mate, there's nothing.
But not the Thing, which came out the same year.
No fucking Alien, none of that shit. But for some reason, E.T. fucks me up, and so I occasionally wake up at 3 a.m. and I'm like, oh, Mike sent me a message, and I'm like,
more trauma.
It's when I'm at my most frightened is when E.T. is why, Michael? I thought we were friends.
No, I don't know why. This is what I was driving at originally. So Mark arrived at Threads quite recently, which I was very thrilled about, because you and I talked about it on text. I was just like, oh fuck, man, you got to watch like Threads. Oh my God. And my brother. So Threads was originally presented in 4:3.
Yes,
but it was shot open matte, so it's been restored in a 16:9. So it's a 16:9.
Okay.
Yeah. I've got this. I mean, it was framed for television, so everything's central. But the Blu-ray that I have is in 16:9. So I think Mick Jackson supervised the restoration of the Blu-ray version.
I think I've got. I don't know what version. I think I got the square version.
Most ones are. Like the 16:9 one only came out recently. But as I said to Mark at the time, and I cannot account for this, and I don't know why this is, but I find Threads weirdly comforting. And like I said this to you at the time, didn't I? Like, I can put Threads on and quite happily watch it and kind of go like, oh, lovely Sunday afternoon. And I'm not trying to be one of those like goth 15-year-olds drawing like, fucking pentagrams on my maths book. Like, I'm not okay with this fundamentally, but I'll put Threads on and just sort of watch it and just get involved. I'll totally kind of ease into it, and I'll watch it, and I'll just watch like the little boy getting nuked in the fucking pigeon shed, and I watch him like wrapping up their grandma in bin bags, and I'm weirdly, and like the council suffocating under Sheffield City Hall.
Oh, God,
I'm sort of like, yeah, this is. I'll tell you what. Do you know what else they do? They do the La Jetée, the Chris Marker film. They do the black and white stills.
Yeah,
there's all the black and white stills, so it's like all the rubble, and it's kind of like any post-nuclear government would be forced to judge between providing food and executing citizens, and it's just like,
you know what? There's they don't even say this. This is something I found because I was researching something. That's why I watched it, and they talk about despondency post-nuke. Like there'd be a despondency in the citizenship, and everyone would just be like, so when the fucking dude gets up and leaves his fucking wife, that's part of that. But they never explained that. I took that and I was like, this is harrowing. Like, he just doesn't want to watch her die.
And
his son is reason for him to leave, and he just went, I don't want to watch her die, so he just walked away. And it's fucking amazing.
So he goes, like, his son dies in the aviary.
Yeah.
And his wife is like burnt, right? And you see her catch fire.
Oh, it's fucking horrible.
His daughter was I can't remember her name. His daughter years later was one of the paramedics in Casualty.
Oh, really?
But, yeah. I can't remember.
The character's name is Ruth. That's the main
right.
thing.
Oh no. Oh, sorry. Not. Oh God, you're talking about that family. I'm talking about the other family. The dad with the moustache.
Rhys Dinsdale's.
Oh, yeah. No, not that. Sorry, no, not that. Yeah.
So
yeah, Rhys Dinsdale's family.
Rhys Dinsdale's family, who Rhys Dinsdale just disappears.
He dies at the woodyard. Oh bloody hell! They've done it.
You see him running. Last thing you see him running through a crowded street, and then I think there's
he gets done in the blast, mate. Because Ruth's mum and dad and grandma go to the basement, and then Rhys Dinsdale's family have the aviary. That's the dad that fucks off. Yeah.
And she just sees like a dead, burnt corpse and goes, "Okay."
Later on in the film, you know when there's a traffic warden guarding the food, the daughter's in that crowd.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's not referenced; it's just a shot of her there, and they don't make any hay out of it.
Yeah.
She's just there, and then that's amazing. It's, genuinely, like, and it's a television thing. It's one of the most incredible pieces of film ever made. I really do think that, and
it has no business holding up, but it does. And I was like, oh, fuck, because the style in which it was made is kind of it's I think it might be tricky to take in for like a modern audience. There's a lot of close-ups. And
it's very because I think because it's framed again. I have the 16:9 version, but it's framed for television.
I've only got the square version. I just checked that that's what I've got. So it's the 4:3 thing. But there's something. I think it's just it doesn't shy away from the bleakness. The thing about they never do this. This is really amazing because if I ever do anything like this, I wouldn't do it this way, where the kid is playing the fucking computer game. And it's making those annoying bleeps. The dad doesn't say, shut that bloody thing off. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But then later on in the film, you see him just put it on and just fall asleep, listen to the same bleeps. And you're like, holy shit, that's him hanging on to the family that he doesn't have anymore.
Yeah, that's all he's got.
But like, there was like, to draw attention to it, a lesser film, the film I would make, would be a guy going, shut that bloody thing off, you little bastard. I wish you were dead in a nuclear fire or something.
I regret getting married. I
wish abortion pills were free in the time when you were a fetus.
Yes.
Classic pre-parent chat.
Hey, and when because there's the thing. So we have Rhys Dinsdale, who's a great fellow on Twitter, by the way.
Yeah, he's good mates with a friend of mine and Mike's. I think they know each other from something.
Oh, dude. Oh, he's a fuck.
I was messaging my friend Craig throughout saying, "You gotta tell Rhys I'm watching this fucking amazing. I didn't know anyone was in it."
You seen ID? You seen ID, right?
Oh, I love ID.
Fucking ID, man. Dinsdale's off the chain. Dinsdale's off the chain.
They were joking. Someone came up where I think I saw a Twitter thing, and this is how I found out Craig knew him. And because Craig's the main character from Magpie, a film I made, and he's in Light Shooter and stuff. And I said, what films would you love to see? What films that will never get sequels would you like to see how the characters are doing? And I went, fucking ID. I want to know how that works out.
Yeah.
I think he's drunk in a bar, having fucked up his life and his marriage. He's one of those horrible, horrible people, but he started off so fine. And then Craig just tagged that and went, what do you think? And Rhys went, sounds right.
Fuck.
And I was like, oh shit.
Fuck shit. I mean, how often do you get that kind of resolution? How often do you get that?
So easily starstruck.
Oh
right?
Man, come
on.
And
I don't think it'll go away, and I like it. It's fine. It's really exciting to me. But when my mate Dom was like, Jonathan Frakes directed me in Picard, and 7 of 9 was in the scene, and Patrick Stewart, and I was like, holy shit! And then having watched the show, and like it or not, there are some new characters in that show. I'm like, that character's really good, and that character's really good. And I was like, oh wow, you also had scenes with those guys. And he was just like, yeah, it's really cool. I said, none of them know what I look like. I was in that makeup all the time. But it's nice.
I would be excited as fuck by that, mate. I would.
Yeah, I'm very much so, and it's I don't know, I'm fucking I don't even know how to end the sentence. Trail off.
That's fine. Well, I tell you what, let's It's 10:12. Let's aim to wrap up at 12:15. I'll smash the credits at 12:15.
Okay,
but this has been fucking mate.
That's another 2 hours.
Yeah, that's right. So 12. Did I say 12:15? Oh my god. 3 minutes,
Mate,
not 2 hours. 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
No, I don't feel bound to say interesting things about Dawn of the Dead. I'm like, oh, this is easy.
Oh, dude, no. Hey, look, this is.
Oh, here's a guy with a handlebar mustache and a sombrero.
I like blood. Do you like blood? I like blood.
Yeah. Oh, here's a guy who's white, dressed up as, like, I guess a Hispanic. I can't really tell.
A little bit of brown face in the movie. I like the movie. There's a little bit of brown face in the movie. A little bit of brown face in the movie. Probably not. I'm definitely not all right with that. But you know,
I object, if anything.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's the best stance because it's
glad
objectionable.
George Romero's dead. Racist fucking son of a bitch.
Okay, so firstly, that's going to be pretty hard to walk back, Mark. Actually,
no, it's cool, man. He said some really nice things about Collins.
I know. George
He's grown up as many white guys as he likes. What could go wrong?
Here's my thing. Okay, here's my thing I want to do. I talked about this before. I made some George Romero Converse, and George Romero signed them for me in person, and here they are. I've been cleaning them up recently, but I got George Romero there, and then I've got oh no, yeah, they both say George Romero. I thought one said "Stay Scared" because that was his standard signing thing. These are my George Romero sneakers. So I used to I sold a bunch of these. I sold a bunch of pairs of these back in the day when I used to sell, because I used to have a business selling custom shoes, which is in the dark distant past. But I kept a pair back and I took them to George at a Comic-Con, and he signed them for me. And I showed them to him, and he said, "Oh wow, these are really neat." And this was a 78-year-old man at the time, I think, who'd been sat in the hot sunshine in a horrible exhibition centre, was having probably the worst weekend of his life before he died. So him just sort of being sweet about my shoes, I was like, that's amazing. So that's my George Romero thing that I love. That's my thing. But he much like Martin Scorsese, who's, you know, George Romero is a better director than Martin Scorsese as far as I'm concerned. What did George Romero say about Colin?
I don't remember. Someone sent me a YouTube video. I think someone was like, I think someone in the audience asked. It was at the Toronto International Film Festival thing where they were talking about. I think it was just about the screen Diary of the Dead.
Right.
And
right. Okay.
And someone said, "Hey, what would you say to any filmmakers starting out? What advice would you give them?" And he went, "Just fucking make your movie. You got to make your movie. Do whatever you want." There's a guy in England who made a film for $70. And then the guy hosting went, "That movie was called Colin, by the way. Colin Cook." And I was like, why is that guy saying Colin so funny? It's because his name was Colin. Right. And he was the guy at Ran who asked to see the film. This is who asked to see the film before we'd gone to Cannes and had all of our press. And then decided it wasn't worth screening at Toronto International Film Festival. And then when the press came out, it was like a film where it was like, "Hey, why isn't this here?" Right. So it's but I thought you.
Hey, look, the man saw it. That's a big deal. The man saw, because like if you're making a zombie movie,
I don't know if he watched it, but he was definitely aware of it, and I was like, "Yeah, that'll do. That's all.
Enough,
full
isn't
circle."
It? That's enough. Look, hey, look, I shuffled up to him and was like, "Can you put your signature on my shoes, please?" And I still had to pay as well. By the way, that was not free.
How do I get a red pair of those shoes?
Yeah, you pay me and I'll make them for you. Unfortunately, I can't get him signed because he's dead now. But I
don't need them signed. If you can draw on them, if you can draw that.
I sold a bunch of those. I want
the white guy playing the Hispanic.
John Amplis in brownface.
I want Martin in brownface playing on my Converse.
Jackson's most problematic trainers of all time.
But they're really cool. They're red.
Yeah, they're red. They're red in a problematic way. Yes, absolutely. I did a green and black variant. What happened with it? Because I had a business selling custom trainers. Going back about 6-7 years now, probably longer. And those I did 2 pairs that went viral, and my Dawn of the Dead pair went viral. And my Venture Brothers pair went viral, and they got picked up by blogs and stuff. And I did all right off that, but I was juggling the stuff with Ollie. I was doing a degree, and I was working. I had the trainers, and I thought the trainers were the thing that had to go out of all of those. Was the best thing to kind of let go. And the Dawn of the Dead ones, I sold a bunch of pairs of them, and they were done on a case. I wasn't, manufacturing them on a mass basis. I was doing them on a to-order basis, and someone with ownership of the Dawn of the Dead IP approached me through their lawyer and made me stop selling them, which was kind of shit because it's like, dude. And the thing is, I was on Etsy.
Hang on, Rich, we're a bit drunk, and you've told me the full version of this story, and we've slipped up a lot.
I feel like I feel like
you clearly don't want to talk about it. I do. I'm like,
fuck it.
You let me know who it was.
I feel like anybody who watched the start of the stream could piece it together. However, I will say, I'm fine with it because I think it's defendable in court, which I never did, and I'm not doing it anymore. He told me to cease and desist, and I did.
There we go. Everyone wins.
See, George Romero saw Mark's film. An unnamed producer of that film told me to cease and desist. So we both have a sort of relationship.
Well, no producer on my film. It was me and my mates.
We have
an unproduced, What? Sorry, I'm going to fuck this up. It wasn't an unnamed producer of my film.
No, it's an
unnamed producer of
unnamed producer of a George Romero film. Complete clarity.
Yeah.
The person who asked me to cease and desist had no relationship to Mark Price or any of his projects. It's what I'm trying to say.
I'd love to sue you, but
I do. I mean, it would be
for a joke, though. It'd be like, I'm gonna sue you for this. You called me a cunt.
Yeah, no, it'd be like trying to steal shoes off a man with no legs. That's what that. That's the best I could give.
Frankly, Rich, that's the only way I'd steal shoes because he wouldn't be able to run at me with his gimpy fucking lack of kick skills, which is all I need as an advantage.
Well,
frankly.
That's it. That's. I do love how
can't kick your own height, huh? Well, I guess these shoes are mine, you legless fuck.
As a man with a mostly titanium leg, I take exception to that.
Oh no, there we go. See, this is where I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
Without having to get punched. Mike Hughes says he's a size 9.
Oh, okay, so he wants some too, does he?
And as I opened the message, I saw that picture of E.T. again, the son of a bitch.
Well, I'm sorry, Mike, but an unnamed producer of Dawn of the Dead says I'm no longer allowed to produce Dawn of the Dead shoes. Not that I've produced any shoes. I got to say, actually, sort of like the trainer painting thing was my first foray into self-employment, and self-employment as a filmmaker was way easier. That's why I went down that route.
Really is, isn't it? All you do is you pull your hair and say, "What the fuck?"
I mean,
do it better.
I mean, I did pull my hair, Mark, but look what happened.
Sounds like didn't have enough money to pay people to demand that they do it better.
It's true. I didn't have the budget.
Punching myself in the face, going, "What the fuck do you call that? You suck!" Oh
You
God,
suck as shit.
sorry, Mark.
Okay, Mark. Okay. Let's cut to credits. Let's end this. I said it like 10 minutes ago. Let's cut to credits. Guys, it's been a wonderful stream. Me and Mark have had loads of fun. Well, I'm speaking for you, Mark, but I've had loads of fun. It's been great.
It's 3.5 hours. I'm so sorry if I've been really boring or drunker.
I think we've both been embarrassingly drunk, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
You know what? I think I've been fine. If I ever watch this back, I'll be like, oh my God, I was really sorry about that brown.
Don't do that, Mark. Never watch it. No, we don't watch them back, mate. We don't watch them back. Don't ever do that. That's a mistake. You don't want to do that. No, it's fine. We've been all right. I've been... This is the thing. So Duncan, Duncan doesn't really do the zombie stuff, and that's cool, because I don't really do the Bond stuff and other things that, we don't cross over all the time. And to get someone in who's done a zombie movie, and you and I have been talking on fucking WhatsApp about all kinds of shit for ages, man.
Yeah, we really bonded. But okay, I gotta say this. This is really sweet. My dog died before Christmas, right? I'm not gonna get melancholy. My dog died before Christmas, and Rich saw like a post I put up because I didn't want to talk about it, and then sort of messaged me, and then I cried for about 4 hours whilst messaging about how sad I was, and he was telling me about his cat. I was like, oh God, and I think that was like a genuine, like the rare evolution in a friendship that was like
we had a bit of a moment, didn't we?
Mario eating the mushroom and the flower, and then shoot fireballs. I was like, oh God, and I felt like so much better, and so like, and then from there it was like I don't know.
It's been endless nonsense since then, isn't it?
Blossoms.
It's been a beautiful pandemic. It's been a delightful pandemic friendship based upon grief, which is the best you go for. Oh well, that's not. Hey, look, it came from the worst of circumstances, but I'm glad. For what became.
Oh, mate, it's been great. So, like, the truth is, like, if because this like I feel I'm trying to be like not annoying to everyone who's watching, but at the same time I'm kind of like, this is almost what we talk like. This is almost unrestrained conversation, and I'm happy to do this whenever anyone wants to watch, and I will try my best to be more interesting.
Do Day of the Dead with me. Do Day of the Dead with me. Oh, actually, Duncan and I already did Day of the Dead. So we can't.
What was Duncan like? Why is it so violent?
Duncan was really.
Why is no one wearing a tux?
Duncan was really cool about. I think Duncan really enjoyed Day of the Dead. He was really cool about it, which I really appreciate because it's kind of like, it's time for Richard's bullshit. But yeah,
is that like you can like. He always looks at things with this. He wants to share the experience.
Yeah, massively. He's really cool.
So, like, he knows what he likes, and that's fine. Like, but at the same time, he's like, if you pressure him, he wants to share the experience, and I think I feel that pressure of, oh, well, I don't want to make you. What if you don't like it?
Well, Duncan and I have Venn diagram, which is mostly center, but then there's the fringes which don't add up at all. That's Duncan and I's thing. As Duncan's in the chat right now, has just pointed out, we just did GoldenEye, but GoldenEye is the Bond movie where I know a bit about it and I'm kind of into it, but that's our channel's yin yang situation. Like, we are different enough that Duncan and I meet in the middle on loads of stuff, and the bits on the fringes we're completely different over, and that is what makes it interesting, I think.
Well, I think I was talking to Duncan about doing something about Blown Away a while ago, and I watched it just a few weeks back, and I think I was messaging him the whole time. I'm like, holy shit, is Tommy Lee Jones's accent good or bad? I can't tell at this point. There's so many whiskey sours that Richard taught me how to make. I don't really know. And he was like, I think it's bad. And I was like, it's bad. Different than Irishman. He can't tell either, but he's also drunk a lot of booze today. It was a wonderful cluster of. We need to talk about this film.
A cluster of fuck is what they call it, Mark.
A cluster
of fuck. Well, hey, I'm gonna cut to credits. Mad respect to everybody. I think we peaked at around 90 people, which is really lovely for a sort of off the books. Normally, our streams are voted for on Patreon. They take place on Thursday nights. This is a bonus stream. I'm bringing in the Zombie Man to come in and talk to me about zombie shit. But this was extra, so thanks for coming in. We still do gaming streams on Saturdays most of the time. Movie streams on Thursdays, random bits of content. You can support us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Val Verde Broadcasting if you want this nonsense to continue. You can find us at Val Verde Tweets on Twitter. And we exist on Facebook, but that's only for your nan now, so we don't talk about that anymore. Mark, did you want to push anything since you've got the airtime?
Oh God, if anyone wants to watch Doom Drifter, message me and I'll send you a private link. So don't pay for it because it doesn't fucking matter. It's not the right film.
Yeah, Mark wants you to pirate his own film. That's fine.
But if you've got the DVD, watch the special feature producer's cut.
The fucking
basically
the self piracy is real. It's great. I love it.
It starts with stars and credits with a bunch of names that no one's ever heard of. If it starts with like explosions and space battles and shit like that, you got the wrong version. That's so yes.
Well, there you go.
that was my plug. Please don't watch my film.
Valverdians, the place is here and the time is now. We're good, but you're great. Thanks for tuning in. We love having you. We're going to see you on Thursday. You want to talk to us, you can throw us an instant message or whatever. Send us an email. All the details are below. We love you. And we hope you love us back. Thank you so much. Enjoy this delightful credit sequence. I'm off, and so is Mark. Mark, see you later.
Thank you so much, everyone.